Hello and welcome everyone to episode, I believe we're on 39 of Animus Absentis. Um, we've been having a time telling each other a horrible alternate reality, sad stories about our characters the past couple of days, so this is going to be fun. We left off last week where the crew has found a couple of the compounds they need for the memory drug to restore memories for those that actually want that. And it's at a pharmaceutical company that has two of the compounds that are needed. And they've staged as investors and are going to try to sneak in and steal it. So this can only go well. We did find out last week also that they had been here in their previous lives, which means there's a chance they could be recognized at some point as well. So it's going to go great. I'm really excited. Before we jump into it, though, I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves and their characters. So we'll start at this top left. So, Jay, tell us a little bit about Sparky and yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jay, or Alien Jays. As you can see, I'm non-corporeal today. There was an issue with shipping. So I'm a writer, I'm a role player, and a game dev. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch, Twitter and itch.io at Alien Jays. And just a quick reminder, I'll probably go into it after the game as well. My Afterburner playtest Wave 2 is still open for applications. So if you're interested in playing, by all means, check that out on Twitter. It's on the pinned post. I am playing Sparky tonight, who is a mess like me. Go figure. So they're really happy to not be at the forefront of this mission, though they're definitely the second in command with Annie. And they're just trying to make sure that she kind of gets through it okay, because she is, I think, one of the only people on the crew that really wants their memories back, aside from the doctor and maybe Captain. So we're not really sure what's going to happen in here. Like Raven said, we could be noticed because we didn't have good disguises before we came in, and also we're lying, so there's that. So I'm excited to see what happens and how we end up getting out of it, because we always do somehow.
It's gonna be something for sure. I'm excited. Next we've got V. Tell us a little bit about Annie and yourself.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am the second third of the Canadian crew. I am an artist, primarily work in pencil sketch and watercolor, but also digital as well. And I do have an art Twitter. If you'd like to check out my work, you can certainly do so. It's at Peppero Draws. It's Peppero like the candy. It's there under my little name card. I've been recently posting some OC sketches, some My Hero Academia stuff, working on some more Animus Absentis as well. So if you'd like to check any of those out, certainly do so. Yeah, I play Annie, and we always joke that she was kind of like Space Anonymous before the memory wipe. She had kind of this Robin Hood thing going where she would steal from the rich, and instead of giving to the poor, she would sell to smaller companies. So she would break into systems and steal information, sensitive information from larger corporations, and sell that information off to the smaller guy to be able to use, and fuck up the big corporations however they saw fit. So she got a little bit out of that for herself, a little monetary compensation, as well as the smugness of knowing that she had a hand in doing that. But since losing her memories, she has been the tall, well, I guess she started out as the tall little mouse, the cinnamon roll, and has slowly devolved into tall stabby lady. She just brings knives around with her everywhere now. Her crossbow when she can, and yeah, she has her younger brother back, so that's cool. She's kind of looking after the younger ones of the group now and giving them as much a hard time as she possibly can. Yeah, that's Annie.
Fantastic. Next we've got Alex. Tell us a little bit about Seattle and yourself.
Hello, I am the third part of the Canadian Invisibility Gang. Yay, go Canadian Invisibility! Don't you know, we're only visible most days of the year. I'm a digital artist. I play Seattle. He's kind of like the head engineer, mechanic, gay goth dad of the group, and he's really hoping Annie's okay through this, and he's really worried about what getting her memory back is going to do to the Annie he knows now, because he doesn't remember Annalise. But this is what she needs, so he's gonna make sure she gets it.
Nothing good, I can tell you that. I'm kidding. I'm getting kind of a little bit, not entirely.
Not even remotely.
All right. And then next we've got Goody. Tell us a little bit about yourself and Captain.
I play Goody, or I am Goody. I play Captain. I know what words are. And Captain is a android. Before the memory wipe, she was a Black Ops murder droid. She still is, however, we have not seen her murder droid anyone. I don't know if that'll ever change, but she is kind of the mom to this crew. She does not wish to be human, but she is trying her best to understand humans. It's not going great. But she's just trying to keep her group of idiots alive. And yeah, it should be fun. She's also a cryptid on Mars.
Yeah, Mars is haunted.
Mars is haunted.
Yeah. All right, and then that just leaves me. I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related. My link tree is in chat, so you can check out all those various things. And then I play everyone else in the galaxy, including Daisy, Liam, and Seth, who are members of the crew that have been literally and metaphorically adopted into the crew. Daisy is actually Seattle's daughter, and also the reason that people have lost their memories. Seth is a former retriever for the cartel, who is now all-around good kid and bodyguard for the group. And Liam is Annie's younger brother, whom they rescued from the cartel. So I play all of those, and then all the other NPCs. And then, what else was I going to say before we jump into it? Oh, sponsors.
Yes, we will eventually make you play all of our families.
My God. Sponsors are Fundamental RPG, which is the system that this game runs on. It looks like this. You can get a copy on Amazon if you want a print copy, and then if you want just the PDF, you can pick that up at coffee.com/raven/shop. Like it says in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, just add /shop to the end, and it'll take you right there. You can also get character sheets for free there as well. There's a printable version and a form-fillable version if you just want to type it in on the computer. For that. And then Intrepid is the other one, which is adventuring gear for real life. Really cool tabletop themed clothing and accessories. You can find that at the same place at the coffee website. I think that is everything to get out of the way for now, so we're going to jump into it. When we left off, it was, I believe, Sparky, Annie, Daisy, and Seth. Was there anybody else with you in the building?
I think that's it, because it was we had Daisy as the assistant, we had Seth as the bodyguard, and then Annie and Sparky were the whatever you want to call us, the investors, I guess.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I don't think anyone else came in.
That's right. Captain is in the shuttle out of fear of being recognized, and Seattle's the getaway driver, and then Liam is taking care of the
He's on the Lagrange. Yeah. Okay.
Liam has actually made himself very useful by training on Lagrange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Cool. So.
And y'all didn't trust my brother. Come on, get with the program. he's a good kid. Look at him. He's being useful.
He is a pretty good kid. The receptionist had told you that the senior doctor on the staff, Dr. McLaren, was busy, though he is in the office. So they voluntold John Nash, the intern, to give you the tour. And so he's approached you and asked, where would you like to get started on the tour? And list off, like you can check out the offices, the warehouse, the labs, and he says, most people want to check out the labs, but is willing to give you the full tour, just wants to know where you want to start.
The labs sound awfully fun. I would like to go there.
Okay. He leads you in that direction down a hallway. As you're walking along, could I get a sight check from everyone who's walking around with this?
One day I'll actually put points into sight.
It's honestly one of the most useful skills in the game.
I need to
What
put
am I
more
saying? I
points
have
into
10 points in there. It's fine.
Wow.
Oh,
I am
that's not
rolling
great.
like crap today.
So,
High five for anarchy. Rolling
right.
the same.
We're just good.
One brain cell. One brain cell. It's fine.
And it's on holiday.
So yeah, as you're walking along, it just looks like a standard office building. It's got not particularly stylish tile, but it is clean and newish. The walls are a nice taupe, which they say is very soothing. It's got the sort of drop-in tile ceiling that you see in most office buildings. And yeah, it's just a bunch of hallways with doors. You're kind of preoccupied with whatever it is John is explaining about how long the company's been in business, awards that they've won, awards that they've won for different things, etc., etc. So you don't really notice what's behind those doors. Nobody's really looking through the windows at different things. It's just, standard office buildings. There's a conference room. With some people talking in there about business stuff, you presume.
Business
words.
Business words, yeah. There's a little break room, with somebody in there that looks like they don't want to talk to anyone. That's about all you really notice. And then he gets you to the labs.
I think while they're walking, Sparky would like to ask this Nash fellow about what their last 2 years of profits have looked like, because obviously we're investing, so I'd like to know what they're looking at in terms of business.
Yeah, he pulls out his tablet and with a very short amount of time, a few little clicks on there, pulls up the stockholders or shareholders meeting notes on profit for the last 2 years, all the public knowledge about it, and just hands you the tablet and goes, "Oh, here, I've got those numbers right here."
So Sparky will make a show of showing it to Annie, and then just kind of glance over it really quickly, looking for big purchases in the last 2 years, kind of something that bumped up significantly.
Okay, let me get an education roll for that.
Sure.
As you try to decipher the
legalese. Yeah.
30. 30. Yeah. Some of it, not all of it makes sense, but some of it does.
Mm-hmm.
And not really any sign of major acquisitions or anything like that, but they did have a pretty big boost in profit at the very beginning of the information that you have here. So about 2 years ago.
How big of a jump? Are we talking 100% jump? Just a noticeable jump?
Not big enough that it would be a giant mountain peak on a line chart and then, go right back down. But a little bit larger than anything else over the last 2 years.
Okay. Sparky, I'll just make a mental note of that. And then once Annie is done inspecting it, they'll hand it back to John.
Okay. Did Annie want to do anything with that information or the tablet?
As soon as John turns around, like, I'm gonna hack the shit out of this thing.
No, not this right now.
Okay. Then yeah, John takes the tablet back and leads you into it almost looks like a fancy waiting room, like at a doctor's office. The hall beyond that takes on a different look. It's a little more sterile looking, and like the walls aren't textured like the walls in the current hallway are. Things like that, and the fluorescent lights seem a little bit brighter. So before you get into that part of the hallway, leads you into this fancy looking waiting room, and says, all right, if I could just have you all take a seat, and let me just get you those the forms, and he hands each of you a clipboard with a pretty hefty stack of papers clipped to it, which is like waivers for personal liability, non-disclosure agreements, a bunch of stuff like that, and a branded pen attached to each one. He's like, all right, if I could just have you fill this out, I can give you the tour of the labs, and we're just gonna have you watch this little film while you do that, and then I will be back in about 30 minutes to give you the rest of the tour. And there's like a little projector screen that comes down from the ceiling, and it's basically like a PSA about lab safety, and it's even got like a little cartoon character beaker that's explaining everything. It's super condescending, but it explains like what to do if you touch something, how you're not supposed to touch something, but if you do, what happens if it gets in your eyes, and how to use the eye wash station, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But he leaves to let you fill this all out. Is there anything that you want to do during that, or are you actually going to fill out all this paperwork? Ecuador likes it. I love the genre of orientation movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Sparky would just kind of idly fill the paperwork out, but they're gonna keep an eye. They're gonna kind of look around the room, almost bored, is what they're making it look like. But they'd like to look for cameras.
Very smart. Let me get a sight check from that, cool. And you can add your assassin training into that.
Oh hell yes, I would love to.
Lost V.
Oh no, I was wondering. Okay, plus what is that? 6.
There we go.
Oh fuck's sake!
Welcome back.
Hey,
You're just in time. No, it's all good. You're just in time to see me whiff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now
what did I miss? What did
I was looking.
I froze
you were
for
gone
1 second.
Yeah, you were gone for 2 seconds. I've blown a hole in the wall. Captain's coming in.
Jay, you can't pull that. You can't pull that sort of stuff out of your ass, because I would have believed you.
I know you would.
So, get to why I'm going. Oh no, in a second.
Yeah. Oh good.
So V, yeah. You got the orientation movie and the big stack of paperwork. All that. You heard all that?
Yeah. Last time I heard, you said there was like a little beaker guy, and the whole process was rather condescending.
Okay. Yeah. So he leaves you alone in the room for like 30 minutes, and then I was thinking, did you all want to do anything during that time? And Sparky's like, I'm gonna look for cameras, and rolled a nat 1, and then I rolled a d20 to see how bad the nat 1 is, and I also got a nat 1.
Yay. I was wondering when one of these would happen.
Yep.
We just started.
Yep.
We just started. What is happening?
Listen, we work better under pressure.
Is this all because I wrote the sad things? Is this my fault? Did I manifest it?
Unless you've angered, the dice somehow. No. So for anyone that's not familiar, the way I do nat 1s is that when it happens, I roll a d20, and the closer to 20 it is, it's not so bad. The closer to 1 it is, it's really bad. So me getting a nat 1 means it's about as bad as it could possibly go.
So did Sparky just like look at the camera and start reciting something?
I just looked at the camera and someone was like, "That's them, blow up the building."
Yeah, you look directly into one of the cameras, you notice it, and you're like, oh, there's a camera. You're super obvious that you're looking for a camera.
Oh, good.
And then, say something to the effect of, boy, I really hope they don't recognize us, because that's a very obvious camera. Just
I think they would notice the camera. They would look over at Annie, and they'd when you're in a busy place and you're all kind of talking at a normal volume to hear each other, and then it suddenly goes dead quiet as you're saying the worst thing. I think that's what happens. I think the video goes to the do like the little enter bit of it, and Sparky's just like, man, I really hope they don't notice us, because like this is already going really smoothly. But they say it just a little too loud.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say you just have this irrational hatred for that particular camera and have the urge to destroy it. Whether you do or not is entirely up to you, but that urge is there.
Okay, that's noted. I mean, you know me. I'm
yeah. That camera specifically has insulted your family.
Okay.
Somehow.
I think it would probably
on
be
the day of your daughter's wedding.
Yeah. Is there just the one camera?
There are 2 cameras in the room.
Okay.
Sparky doesn't know because they're too busy looking at this one.
Yeah.
They just keep glancing over their shoulder like it's someone in the room. Okay, so what's Annie doing while I'm totally throwing her plan under the bus?
Annie pretends that you haven't even spoken. Like, you don't exist to her. She can't hear you whatsoever. She's filling out her paperwork.
Why are y'all so lawful?
I'm not. I'm like 5 seconds away from going ape on a camera. Annie's the best one.
You can tell that her ignoring you is very specific, very deliberate, and it's her equivalent of when a child is acting a fool in a grocery store and the mother like grits her teeth and smiles and opens her eyes really wide and says, your ass is going to be beat when we get home. Like that's the vibe you're getting.
Don't maybe turn this investment around.
Exactly.
Quick note, thank you so much, Econorlax, who redeemed 10,000 guild coins to give an advantage to Jay.
Many thanks.
Also a reminder that you still have an advantage from a previous one.
What?
So that is also there.
Oh, I was unaware.
Yeah, I forgot too.
So yeah, good news is nobody comes like barging into the room or anything.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, everything's still normal. The video's still going. You've still got a pile of paperwork to fill out. Daisy is complaining about the paperwork.
I think Sparky clearly being ignored by Annie for like a few minutes does a bit of a petulant child thing and like pulls out like a communicator of some like just the kind of a physical representation of a communicator, and then calls the shuttle, calls like Captain in Seattle. Because if something's gonna go down, we may need quick evac.
Okay.
So bring.
What are you saying to Seattle?
Sparky's just saying like, like is putting on the air of calling another investor, like someone who couldn't make it to the meeting.
Seattle puts you on speakerphone. So Captain can hear it.
I mean, fair. Yeah, so Sparky just says hello, just to confirm that the line is clear.
Hello.
Yes. So we're just in the middle of a training video before we go and inspect the labs. Are you still able to show up today? I know you have other things to do, but I would behoove you to come and inspect as well. Since
I don't have anything to do today. This is what
Seattle signs is like Ask if they're trying to be sneaky right now.
God, we're a mess.
Captain just says, "Oh, yes, I am available today."
And just to be clear, you're not on speakerphone on Sparky's end.
I figured as much.
Yeah, that would be impressive.
Also,
But she's still very confused.
Sparky thinking to do a phone call with the person who cannot speak.
Sparky was calling the shuttle, not just Seattle. Also, you can do Morse code. Like they've still got the thumb and inner ear thing.
I'm fairly certain there's some sort of like sign language to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
With the communicators in the future.
Like I'm sure we've developed something. Yeah, I think Sparky just says like, we may require an additional set of eyes. Just given your expertise in this area, we would gladly take it. Should you find some time today?
How violently?
Sparky tries not to like both giggle nervously and kind of like make a kind of noise. So it just comes out like a
Well, signs to Captain to tell the Sparky, ask them if they need us to pick them up from the bank.
Do you need to be picked up from the bank?
Oh, no. It seems like they don't have quite that level of investment needed. But should it arise that kind of thing comes up, we'll let you know. This seems like kind of a moderate merger at best for the moment.
So we are not stealing a skin lamp per se.
No, not quite like the last investment.
I am available if need be.
Perfect. Well, you have my number. Don't be a stranger. And they'll kind of nudge Annie and do a little wink. And then they'll just do like the quick kind of business sign off on a call, like, oh yes, we'll talk to you soon. Have your people call my people, and then they'll hang up.
And Sparky's going to unintentionally cut off Captain's.
Communication tap things to Annie only. Is everything okay in there?
Sorry, what were you saying, Lisa?
Sparky's gonna unintentionally cut off Captain's very confused. Sparky, we cannot be strangers. We've been introduced.
Love Captain. Oh god.
All right.
Yeah, so Sparky kind of like puts the communicator back in their pocket and folds their hands on their lap and is very clearly trying to control any of their nervous tics. Like they almost start thumping their leg and then that stops and then they start like twiddling thumbs and it almost starts getting audible and they keep side glancing at Annie like, what the fuck do we do?
Annie gets a message from Seattle via the tap method of, is everything okay in there?
She just responds, yes. Everything is fine.
Meanwhile, it's been about 15 minutes total. You're halfway through the orientation video. Seth has all of his paperwork done, and is just standing by the door. Daisy is complaining about the paperwork, but making it sound like, not like, oh, I hate filling this out. It's more like, can't believe that they would make us, fill out this mini non-disclosure forms. Think they would have it streamlined for wealthy investors like us, that sort of thing.
Annie would probably respond, it's not condescension, but it's kind of like, you know what, like when in Rome. She's like, don't worry about it. Yeah, this is their protocol, we're going to follow it. If that's what they need from us, then we'll just go along with it. Just hold your horses. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I suppose, but I may have to talk to someone in their PR department later. She's just sort of really making a show of it, trying to play the part of snooty wealthy investor. even though she's just the assistant. But she gets her paperwork filled out. Is there anything else you want to do with that second 15-minute block before good old Mr. Nash comes back?
Well, I don't want to do anything that's more fucking suspicious than when Sparky's gone and done here. So I would say after Annie fills out her paperwork, she would probably, when you're in a waiting room and your legs kind of get tired of sitting, and so you just kind of get up and mosey around a little bit. That's probably what she does.
Okay. All right. Well, then in about 15 more minutes, John comes back into the room, very chipper, and turns the light back on and goes, all right, great. Any questions about our orientation video for taking the tour of the lab?
No, everything seems to be quite in order.
All right, great. Let me just take your forms, and he reaches out to take everyone's clipboard, and makes some joke about getting to keep the pen, and gathers all those up and sets them aside and says, "All right, let's go take a look."
To the pen comment, I think Annie would probably make some offhand comment like, yes, I'll add it to my collection.
Yeah, he gives you that like forced kind of short laugh, and like the single finger gun, like, yeah, there you go. You bring up a good point, Jay.
Chill out, Jay. Don't lose it now.
Just
You mean lose it now? I was losing it on the
God,
shuttle.
Fingerprints. So yeah, John just seems very, very corporate and just awful. In terms of like being genuine.
It'll be first on the
but leads you
block
down-
when we deal with this planet.
Yeah.
Also, I would like to remind you all that Annie has gloves with her outfit. Chumps.
Wow, thanks, Vanessa. Cheers. This is like drowning on a ship, and you're like, "Oh, looks like I got a life preserver."
Sucks.
And
you
he's
all
not
didn't
gonna let-
prepare.
Annie's not going to let any of you guys go under. Don't worry about it.
Oh, cool. Is this like a Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet
Yes.
on the fucking door
I'm-
situation?
I'm going to share my door frame with you. Would you calm down?
Oh,
We
God.
haven't even
Anyways.
gotten 2 of these brain cells yet. Can you just calm down?
They're all out.
Starts leading you down the hallway. The one that I noted was significantly different from the more office-y kind of hallway. It's pretty much a solid wall on the right-hand side. And then to the left are several very large labs. And the labs have like a half wall, and then sort of like glass the rest of the way up to the ceiling. So you can see into the lab, but it's got a significant barrier between the hallway and the actual room. And there's about 3 of these sort of just lined up down this hallway. He leads you to the first one and starts droning on about some boring stuff that they make here, like the future Tylenol equivalent or something like that, and how they test different things, and kind of goes on and on with the corporate spiel of how it's safe and how they've never had a recall, and profit margin, blah blah blah. Do you do anything in here? Look around, wander at all? There's no scientists.
Are we
in this particular
actually
room.
in the lab, or are we just like outside of a lab looking in?
One then the other. So he starts talking while you're looking through the window, and then actually leads you inside of it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think Sparky would be kind of taking a look around and just seeing, like, just getting a general lay of the land of like, what is the equipment like? What's the like amount that they could feasibly make, if this is like a production lab as opposed to an otherwise.
Okay. So are you using the questions as sort of like cover to be nosy while you're looking around?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's like when you have an interview and they take you on like the tour of wherever you're working, and you just kind of like ask questions that allow them to talk more about it.
Okay, let's go
You're
with a
like-
charm roll for that.
Okay. Well, that's like one of my best rolls.
Now we're cooking.
Can I-
25?
Can I use advantage on that?
Yeah, absolutely, if you'd like.
Because I'd like to. Yeah, I got a plus 15 to it, for goodness sake. Well,
Well, at least we got that one out of the
yeah,
way.
at least we got that out of the way. That's how that works.
So 25. It's still not bad. He's sufficiently distracted, droning on about these, stats and reports and things that he's clearly memorized and just prattling off without really thinking about what he's actually saying. But it's enough of a distraction that as long as you don't, you're not too obvious with what you're doing, you can poke around and be nosy. Like if you start, opening filing cabinets and, rifling through papers, then he's probably going to stop you. But anything that you can see without really too much touching, you're able to look around at.
Yeah, Sparky's definitely got their hands like behind their back when they're leaning over to look at stuff.
Okay. Through all that, you see a lot of things that are very boring and commonplace. A lot of things that you have no idea what they do, but they look like they should be here. But in the back corner of this particular lab, you do notice a station that seems kind of set apart from everything else. And it has like a different colored chair than the rest of the little workspaces. And there's just like a single vial holder with a couple of vials in it, and a single laptop on there. So it looks a little bit out of place.
I think.
Yes, this is our special drug chair.
Yeah. This is the tripping chair.
Doesn't everyone have one? It's like an opium couch.
Oh my goodness.
So I think Sparky will kind of not tap Josh, but kind of get his attention to kind of break the spell of this corporate bullshit that he's spewing. And
His name is
gesture-
John, but can you please call him Josh? on
Yeah,
purpose?
you can call him Josh. I'm totally fine with that because I totally did not even realize I called him Josh.
I mean, it kind of makes it's like the first half of his first name, the last half of his last name. It does make Josh. So
Yeah,
that
I'm
makes sense.
John Nash. Ah, yes, Josh. Good to meet you.
We're just super efficient around here.
Yes,
Synergy.
Can't be bothered with all those syllables. So
Business words.
Yeah. So they'll say, Josh, what's that chair over there? Is that Dr. McLaren's desk?
Oh, it's John, but
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Sorry, is that John McLaren's desk?
Oh my god.
oh my
Listen,
God.
I can
Just
thank being
lightheaded.
a snooty asshole.
I kind of want them
I
now
gotta-
to
love it.
just change it to a different J name every time. Yeah, sorry,
I mean-
James. Like,
Yeah.
I'm wheezing.
Oh my
That's like-
god.
That's like my favorite kind of joke.
I know, right?
You know when you laugh and you exhale so hard you make yourself lightheaded?
Yeah.
Just happened to me.
We are
So
on one tonight.
we are. She clears his
I'm
throat.
riding the high.
No, it's Dr. Thomas McLaren, but my name is John.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's
Put
quite
that
all
in
right.
my
Happens
notes.
all the time.
Thomas McLaren. Joke's on you. That was a clever ploy to get his first name.
But no, that isn't. I mean, it's not specifically Dr. McLaren's workstation. That's just a corner that we use for special research. Anything that we have that's in sort of a prototype phase that we're testing out or that needs special attention, and then we'll usually assign someone that workstation for however long it takes to move on to the next step of the project. But that's boring stuff. Let's go ahead and move over to the next lab. And he starts kind of walking towards
Annie
the door.
holds up a hand, actually, before he can get too far away. And she kind of squints over at the desk.
This isn't Star Wars. You can't use the Force to pull the thing
Yeah,
to your hand.
unfortunately. That's fine, because you know what? Last time I tried to use the Force to pull something to me, I ended up throwing Jai into a wall. So
Yeah.
maybe that's not what we want here in the middle of a lab.
I'm sorry, what?
Don't worry about it.
things happened, and it was interesting. That's it.
I was just teasing
Okay,
you
Jay,
because
in
it
the
sounded
same
like
chat,
she
you
was getting
can't
ready
whip out
to.
Jay, in the chat, you can't whip out the name Jimothy. You can't do that to me.
Oh my god.
Do it.
The Star Wars comment was just because it seemed like that's where V was going with that. Like the setup was like, I'm gonna squint at it and then I'm gonna pull it towards me. Anyways,
Never mind, because I don't remember what I was gonna ask.
sorry,
We were talking about the desk. and
I
you were-
derailed
you were
that one. That was my bad.
Holding him up. Was it about
No,
the
it's okay.
vials?
No, that's all right.
All right.
Let's let James keep going.
Okay. So nobody tries to grab anything from that desk, right?
No. Much
Not
as
yet.
it's tempting.
Okay.
We only do that in the second half of the heist.
Well.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Daisy.
I'm gonna be nice.
No, please don't. It's Daisy. Like
33. Okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry,
she
was
walks-
that another nat 1?
on
It
the
was a
D6.
1 on a D6.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good God.
I used one of my D6s. So Daisy does
I told
sneak
you the
over
last
there.
heist went too smooth.
She doesn't take anything, but she does kind of sneak over there and grab a couple of pictures on her tablet of what's there.
See, I'm glad she
before-
did that. I was thinking of doing it, so it's good. It's good initiative.
Daisy's learning. She's not quite that stupid anymore. So she takes a couple pictures and quickly rejoins the group without causing any suspicion. Get to the next lab, and this is where they develop things for medicated shampoos, foot creams, that sort of thing.
Oh, I don't know. I don't even have hair, and I hate that.
Yeah, it smells funny in there. Not the greatest smell. But yeah, he's like, yeah, this is where we make this, and he lists off the major brands that you probably would have heard of, but maybe had no clue that it was what was it? Generico Pharmaceuticals that made
Yep.
them. It's very much a similar setup. There is also a little desk in the corner with a very similar setup and a couple of vials on there.
I just remembered that last time I asked Daisy to stay out in the lobby and look at their security system.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Oops.
about that.
Totally forgot
Oops.
about that.
We get in the second
Well-
lab, and she's like, "Oh shit."
Fuck it, let's keep going by the seat of our pants.
Have we ever not?
just imagine Daisy being like, "Oh crap, I just remember I gotta go call my mom. It's
I
her
don't have a
birthday
phone."
today, and I totally forgot."
Raven, what the hell?
What?
Are you saying Daisy has to go call her mom?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see her saying that's the excuse. I just remembered I gotta go call my mom. It's her birthday, and I completely forgot. I gotta go to the lobby and call her right now.
Have those... Because when you think about it, would those words have ever naturally passed her lips?
No.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, she doesn't actually say that, but I could imagine that being the excuse. So anyways, what do you want to do in the second lab?
Is it kind of the
Captain
same?
saying, I have gas. I mean, she just...
Yeah.
She just holds up a canister of compressed gas.
Or I need to use the restroom. No, you don't.
I just wanted to see what the fuss was about.
It's the experience.
Is this excuse me? Come on in for the restroom experience. Is this lab kind of
Oh my
laid out the
God.
same way, similar
Yeah.
equipment and all? Okay.
Pretty much. There's some slightly different equipment because they're dealing with different products, but it's
Are the vials
Very
do they have
similar.
anything in them?
yeah, they do. They sure do.
Is it the
all of
same
vials do.
is it the same color if there is a color?
Every vial is a slightly different color.
Oh, I mean on the specific desk. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, okay.
The
So
first
how
one had
many-
a couple of different vials, and they were different colors. This one has a couple, and they're different colors.
So is that 4 total different vials?
Yes.
Noted. Yeah, I think Sparky would probably start asking about any proprietary, or not. I shouldn't say proprietary, but any kind of asking a bit more about the specifics of the chemical makeup. Obviously, NDAs notwithstanding, but they would probably start asking about some of the they kind of like pose it like, well, I have a chemistry background in this partnership, so I would love to know not necessarily your secret sauce, as it were, but what chemicals we would be using. There are a few things we don't deal in, and I would like to know whether or not those are on the list.
I need a tech engineering role to
Okay.
see how well you're able to BS this.
Okay. Could
While Sparky's doing that, can I look and see if there are any cameras in this room and where there might be any blind spots?
Yes. Without a roll, you definitely know there are lots of cameras. But if you want to roll sight to try to figure out where a blind spot might be, you can absolutely do so.
could I make a speech check instead?
Sure.
Okay. I'll just let. Did you want to roll first, Vanessa?
I can.
just in case I whiff this super hard.
27?
27. You're not sure, but there does seem to be like a spot where it doesn't look like the camera's quite pointing all the way over at that desk in the corner. But it's one of those, like, it's not looking directly at it, but you're not sure what the angle of the lens on the camera is, so it could cover it. But if there is a blind spot, it's probably that desk.
CERN. Okay. And did you say I still had? Is there a second advantage, or is that someone else in the crew has an advantage as well?
Annie has an advantage.
Gotcha. Okay, that's where I was like,
You do have, I think, 7d6 at the moment.
Yeah, I'll
let me just
probably
check and
need
see
one of those.
Where we're at on the game tweet.
I would actually, if everyone's okay with me having a d6 out of that.
Yeah.
Okay, just because
actually,
I would
no,
like
you're
to
at
see.
6.
Oh,
We
cool.
haven't
Okay,
hit, we haven't hit 5 retweets yet.
gotcha. Not 2d6. Don't do that. So used to playing. Ooh, hey, that's a 36.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. You don't really mention any, like, specific terms or things like that, but you manage to talk yourself in a circle around the points that you don't know the info to so well that you don't have to mention them. It becomes a sort of game like, well, you know what I'm talking about. The
Right,
thing. And
right.
they're like, oh yeah, of course I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, so I don't know about this thing, but I know you know about the thing. So how about that thing?
And then the narrator voice comes on and says neither of them knew what they were talking about. But anyways, yeah, you're able to carry on that conversation.
Cool.
Was there anything specific that you wanted to glean from that?
Specifically, if they use dexaprovaline or interloxide.
He does not mention either of those compounds.
Okay.
Where
does he
did we
mention-
get the names of those again?
I don't remember.
I made them up out of thin air.
Yeah,
and,
no. I mean, like, where would the crew have where did they get those again?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Yeah. The doctor decoded
Oh, right.
their
Right,
notes and
right.
and figured out 2 of the things.
Okay.
Do you think
so-
in hindsight they would have done any like Google searches on these names?
Nope.
I think you did actually. They don't exist.
Yeah, so they're definitely
Right.
proprietary. So yeah, Sparky is keeping an ear out for any other specific chemical names that they might mention.
Okay. I will say that they do mention a few compounds that are worked on specifically in the second lab.
Okay.
That your assassin training tells you are combustible if put into the right combination.
Well, that's good to know.
You're really pushing the bomb narrative here, Raven. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, I mean, listen, it's not a bomb unless it's an enclosed space. It's probably fine.
Yeah. I
So
said combustible, not explosive.
exactly, you can technically make an explosive out of it.
I
Absolutely.
bomb making supplies.
You sure did. So
That's what I'm talking about. Why are you planting that option there? That's a horrible
the option is always there.
I mean, you're not
It's a
wrong.
chemical lab. Like something's got to. We set fire to Momsado with cleaning chemicals.
We sure did.
Yeah.
So, question for you, Raven: does Sparky
Yes.
know the actual combination to make said combustion?
Oh,
Or do they-
absolutely.
Okay, that's the important thing. Like, I can know that these things are combustible in a
You
combination.
read it in one of Seattle's bomb making magazines.
Honestly, they probably made a bomb out of this stuff, or like cremated someone in it. Who knows what they've done? Okay, so yeah, Sparky's gonna file that away.
Rip knows. But okay.
And
Huh?
they'll nothing. They'll just kind of they'll trail off, and they'll let they'll nod to Annie, kind of self-satisfied with it.
Okay. Is anyone gonna go check out that desk? Just out of curiosity.
All right, you know what? We're not doing anything right now. This is not exciting. The audience wants to see some shit happen.
You
So
could
we're
be
gonna make
doing
some
this.
shit happen.
I was gonna say you could do this while I'm chatting.
Exactly.
Joseph
So-
up.
Annie is going to take Seth and Daisy
Mhm.
and walk them over to that corner and just make it as if she's speaking to them and like pointing out different things. So
Okay.
she wants to make it look like she's just talking business.
Take your idiots to work day.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's kind of like a mosey pace, kind of like a aimless walking.
Well, in that case, could I get a blend in roll to blend in with the actions that you're trying to take here?
That's a 19. Do I want to use the advantage now is the question. Probably. I'm going to use the advantage.
I mean, I'm not nodding right now. What?
It doesn't fucking matter.
Oh,
Damn it.
Woof.
Would you like to throw a
use
d6 on that
D6?
19?
Yeah, absolutely.
We're so damn good.
21.
Listen, this is
Right.
how every single one of these missions goes.
21. So you do a decent enough job of looking like you're pointing things out, but you go a little too far with it, and so you actually keep pulling John's attention towards you, because you're just like too emphatic about pointing things. So he keeps seeing movement out of the corner of his eye and looks over to the group, so kind of splitting his attention between Sparky and the rest of you. So if you wanted to try to do something, you could, but you'd have to time it just right. So basically the DC is going to be a little higher than it would have been had you succeeded at that.
If you tell Sparky, they could potentially make a distraction for you.
That's true too. Or you could get in an argument with with Daisy.
Oh
or
yeah,
Seth.
that's true.
Yeah, let's shoot off a message to Sparky. They have like the thumb comms, right?
Mhm.
Is that what we're working with? Yeah. You know, it just says we don't want John looking this way.
Okay. And sorry, Annie's messaging who?
Sparky.
Sparky. Okay.
Yeah, I think Sparky would say, like, how long do you need?
She responds, I just want to, like a minute, just enough to swipe some of these tubes.
God. And you were worried about Sparky blowing up.
Well, she's not looking directly into a camera and going, wow, I sure hope they don't notice us.
No, she's just stealing proprietary chemicals right underneath the nose of an intern and cameras. Yeah, that's totally fine. They won't notice those are missing. Pro tip, they will. So
Does Sparky have a better idea, Jay?
no. Well, I mean,
hats
okay,
off to Sparky.
Depends
Go
what you mean
ahead.
by better.
More effective. Does Sparky have a more effective
Depends what
plan?
you mean by more effective.
Are we going to get anything out of this lab if we let Sparky do what Sparky needs to do?
Yes. Potentially. Okay, so I think Sparky would like to kind of not touch Jason by the arm, but kind of like just corral him a little bit. And kind of lead him on this like long business talk, and kind of bringing him into the inner circle of like, you know, if you can, you know, tell me a little bit more about these things, obviously I will sign an NDA about them, but we're kind of in the business of cornering these drugs. We would like to be the kind of the main wholesaler of these kinds of things. We have multiple, you know, businesses set up just for this kind of thing, and there's a few things I would love to know just between you and I that would definitely help us kind of get this go, you know, kind of like make it worth his while.
Okay. I'll let you choose speech or charm for this one.
Definitely speech. Yeah. Oh, that's a 30. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna add a d6 if everyone's okay with that.
You don't need to.
You don't need
31
to?
is actually plenty.
Just making sure.
Yeah. You have his full attention for know
Cool.
at least 60 seconds.
Cool. Yeah. So as soon as they start talking, they'll do it just a quick like, now's the time to Annie over the thumb comm.
Yeah, Annie wants to swipe the vials, and she's gonna indicate to Daisy to take photos.
Okay. I'm also going to do one of these for Seth, who does an okay job of standing in the way.
Yep.
Seth sort of like tries to stand in the way, so in case the camera is able to capture that spot, that it can't see what you're doing.
He tries to be a wall, but he's a double Dutch door.
Yeah. He tries to be like a house wall, but he's more like a cubicle wall, but you know, it helps. So yeah, you are able to swipe those vials.
Ooh. I'm sure they won't notice. I'm sure they won't notice at all.
Yeah, she's just gonna put them into the inside pockets of the jacket that's draped over her shoulders,
Okay.
so that they're not like hanging out the outside pockets. Because nothing could go wrong with that. So she puts them in like the inside lining pocket.
Where'd you get those vials? I brought them from home.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she starts walking again, but it's trying to be another one of those like, we're not all scattering from this desk. It's just time to move on now. So like, let's start walking because the others are getting too far away now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, John leads you all into the third lab, which is more like herbal supplements and other medications. A lot of pills are in here. And similarly, there is another sort of desk to the side, but it's got more like containers of powders. Like it almost looks like it's where you would measure out like the bad kind of drugs and stuff. Like it literally looks like that, but it's like various herbs and some synthetic
Spices?
powders of things like that.
Okay.
More herbal supplement and vitamin type things.
Okay. Do these are there like obviously multiple types within this group? Multiple types of powder, I should say.
Yeah, and they're like in little jars. Actually, I've got one I can show you.
Let me pull up the stream real quick.
One second. They kind of look a little bit like this. This one has chamomile tea in it, but they kind of look like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, gotcha. Sorry, I was just waiting for it to pop up on stream.
No worries. There's like half a dozen on the table.
Okay. So
the rest of it is set up pretty similarly. A lot of the equipment is very different because it's
dry, not wet.
And making like little gel caps and things like that. But the layout is virtually the same.
Okay. Yeah, I think Sparky would keep kind of asking kind of leading questions, letting him fill in the blanks with his own intern training and everything, but would leave like gaps for Annie to speak if she has anything she wants to add.
Okay.
Annie doesn't ask any specific questions, like she leaves that to Sparky, but she does just kind of like interject ways that would just kind of indicate that she's listening to the conversation and engaging with it.
Like reactive kind of speech.
Okay. John kind of leads you around, talks a lot about like profit margins for their herbal supplement and vitamin lines. A lot of really boring stuff. Is there anything that you want to do in this room aside from listen to the boring speech?
I think Sparky would ask why the labs are empty today. Like, have they been emptied out for us, or is this just is there a pizza party going on that we don't know about?
Pizza party. Oh, too real. Yeah, John just sort of looks around and like, that's an odd question. And then like the light bulb goes off and he's like, oh, no. It's just lunchtime. Most of them are off getting lunch and that sort of thing. They actually should be back any moment. And actually, right as he says that, there's a couple of scientists that are sort of slowly making their way back from the opposite end of the hallway from where you entered this section.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Sparky would nod to them, but would say, are there any other head scientific personnel we could speak with, kind of on the more technical side of things rather than just business?
John goes, yeah, you'll definitely want to talk to Dr. McLaren about that. I'm sure he'll be available soon. I think he had some personal business to take care of on the lunch break. So I'll see if he's available, once he gets back. And he brings over a couple of different scientists as they're kind of filing in, and says, these aren't our senior researchers, but I'm sure they could answer some of the more technical questions you might have. And there's a couple of them from various looking backgrounds and walks of life that have somehow ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
And they look just so thrilled to be here. You can tell that they're really not fans of the intern and the tours.
Mm-hmm.
But they are there to answer your technical questions if you would like to ask some.
I think Sparky would probably ask a few questions about some of the chemicals that they recognized from the last lab. Just kind of using that information to just make up some bullshit, like, oh yeah, I see that you're using this kind of chemical. How do you end up dealing with the the difficulties in titration or some shit like that?
Let me get a I'll let you choose this time, either education or tech engineering for this one.
We'll do tech engineering. That's...
So that you can BS without them going, you're just speaking gibberish.
Yeah, right. Titrations, nobody does those anymore. 25.
So there's a lot of, did you mean this word?
Okay.
So you kind of come off looking like you don't really quite know what you're talking about, but it's not an outright like, yeah, they don't know anything. This is BS. They're suspicious. It's just,
is there any indication that like they might start getting suspicious if Sparky keeps talking?
I mean, it probably would be a good idea to not continue past this point doing that, but for the moment, it's more like, another executive that thinks they know what they're talking about, and they don't.
Yeah, and that's how Sparky's playing it.
At that point, seeing like the number of times they go, "Do you mean this by chance?" I think Annie would probably recognize that tone of voice and would give Sparky just like a little clap on the shoulder, and just be like, "Well, you'll have to forgive my assistant here. Sometimes they like to play scientist, but in fact, they've learned quite a bit coming around to these different laboratories with us. So, if you could lend us a little of your patience, I'm sure that they would very much appreciate it."
Sparky's giving Annie that look of like, "Why, thank you, you absolute son of a bitch." Thank you so much for that backhanded compliment.
She just gives you like the sweetest little smile, like I'm your boss and you can't do anything about it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the thank you, sir, kind of look. Yeah.
While you're doing that, Daisy, noticing that everyone is distracted, tries to take a picture of that desk.
Daisy.
Come on, Daisy.
Did you forget to turn the flash off? What?
No, another scientist walks into the room at that moment and just goes, "Oh yeah, sorry, we're not supposed to allow any photography in here." Daisy is able to play it off as a like, "Oh no, I was just making sure I didn't have anything in my teeth." Like switches the camera around and is like doing the whole like grimacing into the camera. She's able to play it off, but she's not able to get the picture.
Okay. Oh, we're on thin fucking ice.
But yeah, Daisy's like, "Oh, nobody's looking. This is the perfect opportunity." And then a random other person walks in.
Whoop. I think Sparky would kind of trail off on the technical stuff, and just say, it's been a number of years since my graduation. I haven't had a chance to practice like all of you have, so forgive my ignorance in these matters.
The scientists that you're talking to just sort of roll their eyes and mutter something to the equivalent of like, "Damn amateurs," or something to that effect, and then go back to their work.
Just pictured one of them in the other corner of the room, like, "Go back to your business words, suit."
If Annie could speak out of turn, she'd probably be like, "Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure you can't handle a fucking knife, so who's really got the life skills here, pal?"
Did you want to go titrate a personality, asshole? Sorry.
Oh my god. All right.
But of course, they don't say any of those things because that would be horrible.
We're thinking these.
Of course.
So I think Sparky kind of lets that trail off.
More and more scientists are starting to sort of trickle in, going back to their work. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
All good.
More scientists are trickling in, going back about their work. John's kind of wrapping up in lab number 3. Right as he's sort of leading you all out of the room, there is another scientist that walks in from that other side of the hallway. He looks a lot more important, a little older than the other ones. It's got a nice little name tag that says Dr. McLaren on there. And right as he sort of turns the corner, Sparky, you almost run into him, and as you two are able to stop yourselves from colliding, there's that moment where you both look up and like make eye contact, and you notice a significant spark, no pun intended, of recognition in his eyes, and that's where we're going to take a break.
I feel like it's those moments in movies where like two people pass each other in slow motion and just like look at each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the slow realization. Don't worry, I've got a plan to play this off beautifully. It won't get us in any trouble.
Yeah. Of course not. But we're going to take a 15-minute break.
Why do I get the feeling you're gonna need to be picked up from the bank soon?
It's fine, don't worry about it.
Excuse me. We're going to take a 15-minute break.
Only if
Everybody
Captain
stretch their
can get
legs.
sucker from the bank too.
Yes. Hydrate, grab snacks, that sort of thing. So be back here in 15 minutes, and we will see you then. we are back. So, when we right before we went off to break, more scientists were milling back in from their lunch break. Dr. McLaren came in, almost ran into Sparky, had that moment of, the slow-mo moment where there's recognition and like you both realize that, this doctor has recognized you.
Question for you: does Sparky recognize him? I presume.
Probably in like a deja vu kind of way. Like,
Okay.
you seem familiar, but you can clearly see the name tag. So
Yeah.
and you already know that this person was probably here the last time that your group was here.
Yeah, that was more like, do I get a flashback or anything of this person? But I'm totally fine with that.
You can roll discipline and see if you do.
Okay.
It's possible.
Though unlikely. Where is it? There you are. 31.
Yeah. I'm gonna say in that moment you have a flashback to you talking to Dr. McLaren, who looked a little bit, just a little bit younger, in kind of a nondescript office with all of the blinds drawn and the doors shut and locked, and you notice like the cameras are off in the room, and can't really understand what the two of you are saying for the most part in this flashback, but you do recall you asking, is this all 6? And the doctor nodding and saying yes, and then you saying in a very threatening voice, "It better be," and then exiting the room with a package.
Gotcha.
So that happens in like a 1 second. Is there anything that you want to do, like in that moment of recognition?
I think Sparky's gonna play it up. That they're, this is the person we're looking for because we're investors. That's who we are. So they're gonna try and play off the like, oh shit, that's who this is, and just be like, oh, are you Dr. McLaren? We've been looking forward to meeting you. And they're gonna try and hide their utter like, oh fuck, we're bought. We've got it, mates.
Okay. I'm gonna have you do blend in for this, since you were trying to deceive in such a way that you don't, he doesn't think that you're who you are.
Yeah. Oh, that's a dot. If I had, let's say, added enough to get that to a 25, would that make a difference?
A little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
To use monster of the week or powered by the apocalypse terms, it would be a partial success. If you got it to a 25.
What do you think, Vanessa? Should I risk it?
You know what? Fuck it. Go ahead. Why not?
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm
gonna use a
D6.
D6. Okay.
Yep. Here we go.
They've been rolling low, so hopefully we get a high one this time.
That's a 23.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I couldn't have got a 25, could I? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess not.
Math works.
But you got a what, 23? That's a little bit better. Tiny bit better. They're still pretty sure it's you, but you have enough doubt that they don't say anything immediately.
That's good.
And you can kind of read that in their facial expressions. There's that little hint of doubt, enough that they're not speaking yet, but you're pretty sure that they're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
They're gonna know.
Yeah, that's fine.
How would they think they're gonna know?
We just need like a brief little window. So Sparky would introduce himself as, let me get the name because I actually do have a name. Santa Mari, and this is my associate, and they gesture to Annie.
Okay. They very like hesitantly shake your hand, still having that sort of confused expression on his face.
This is that moment where you're like, oh god, the hired killer has come back to do me in.
Yeah. He's like, I see. Investors, huh?
Yeah, and Sparky would say, yes, we represent Conchcore, and they'd pull up the, same thing they did with the secretary in the front.
Okay. I see. And I trust Mr. Nash here has been giving you the tours. There questions that you had that he was unable to answer?
No, Jimmy's done quite a fine job of showing us around these labs. We were just wondering if there was any of your technical expertise you might be able to, tease us with to say sweeten the deal of investing. And Sparky will look at Annie and do kind of a little head tilt, still deciding whether or not we'll be investing today.
He kind of nods and goes, I see. Questions like that we should probably speak about in private. Also, John, when you call him Jimmy, raises the one finger hand and goes to say something, but you keep talking, and so he's sort of does that awkward I want to say something.
I want to interrupt.
You keep that kind of thing. But yeah, Dr. McLaren sort of puts an arm around your shoulder, very gently, and just starts walking back towards the offices.
Okay. Yes, Sparky will call back. Thanks so much for your time, Jeffrey. I hope the rest of your day goes swimmingly. I literally have so a list defeated. Of J names.
Yeah. What about Annie? Are you following close behind? Because the doctor didn't really address you, or anybody else for that matter.
Quite rude, this old chap. That's all right. He'll get his. Yeah, Annie's gonna follow behind. She is gonna turn to Daisy and say, just very low. It's not meant as any sort of like any sort of cover or anything. She's not saying anything that's particularly out there. But she says to Daisy, kind of in a low voice, I believe there are a couple of pages that I left out with our belongings. Would you mind going and getting those for me? Just as an out to give Daisy a way back to the front. Yeah. And she motions for Seth to come with her instead.
Okay. Yep. Daisy gives you the 2-finger mock salute and goes, "You got it, boss."
It's probably at this point that she would use the thumb comms to say security, cameras.
Daisy responds back. I guess probably doing the equivalent of the old T9 style of text typing, just with her thumb as fast as she possibly can. Messages you back that sort of basically saying, I'll try my best, but the security here seems pretty tight. I don't know how I'm going to get into that room, but I will try.
The only thing that Annie sends back is she just says, "I believe in you." And then she continues to go with Sparky.
Okay. So Dr. McLaren leads you all to an office, which Sparky, thanks to your discipline roll, looks awfully familiar. And leads you in. And Annie, he lets you come in as well, but holds up a hand as Seth tries to join you and says, I'm sorry, this is decision makers meeting only. You're welcome to wait outside.
Annie gives McLaren a look up and down, as if trying to decide whether he's worthy enough to be that hoity-toity to her bodyguard. What the fuck, man? And looks down her nose at him and then turns to Seth and just nods once for him to stay outside.
Seth looks very uncomfortable with this, but nods to you and completely ignoring the doctor, and just sort of stands outside.
She gives him a very covert wink as he goes. To anybody else, it would look flirtatious. Like she's, doing that on purpose as a little down, like, wink, wink. But she's just trying to be like, don't worry about it. We'll be okay.
Okay. The doctor closes the door behind you all, and you can see that the cameras in here are off. Same as before. All the blinds and everything are drawn. It's very dark and quiet in here. And then before we go into what's happening there, just wanted to check back with everyone in the shuttle. Is there anything that you two wanted to be doing during all of this?
Seattle is trying to teach Captain to play Go Fish.
It's not going well. Because while Captain can be dishonest at this point, straight up lying like it's required for some Go Fish, she has a very obvious tell. Every time she says fish, she goes fish, if she's lying.
Yeah,
Captain's not a good liar.
Seattle is really trying to help Captain, like, not have a tell. It's not going well.
Yeah.
Seattle's winning a lot.
However, if you were to let her play blackjack...
That's why Seattle isn't letting you play blackjack yet. He knows better.
She would get all the money. But no. Any kind of games in general are hard for her to grasp.
Okay.
Games involving lying, even worse.
I love that. Okay. Anything aside from that you want to do? Looking around the building or contacting anyone or anything like that? Just making sure, because I know you two haven't had a whole lot to do this session. I feel bad.
Oh, it's okay. I
I've
think
been
Captain
enjoying watching everybody do stuff.
Yeah. I think Captain would be okay with just staying put and acting natural as possible.
Okay.
Which in her case just means don't get out of the shuttle. Unless you have to.
Okay.
Because she knows she's been here before and she knows she's distinct looking.
That's true.
And if Sparky is having problems now, it would be extra problematic if another of the same crew showed up.
Seattle is also keeping an eye out, making sure nobody's poking too close around the shuttle.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's pretty much leaving the shuttle alone. There's some security guards that kind of patrol the area, but they don't look like they're on high alert or anything. It's kind of a low-risk location for break-ins during the day, so...
So like mall cop level?
Eventually,
a little higher than that, but yeah.
Probably, tap to Daisy at some point and ask how things are going inside.
Yeah, Daisy responds back and it's like, well, I'm trying to get into the security room, not having a lot of luck. Because... Well, the security's kind of tight. It could probably be overpowered, but it's really hard to get around in here without getting caught. Annie and Sparky are talking to the head doctor right now. They acted kind of weird, not sure what's up.
You guys could always make a distraction outside.
Seattle was about to say, why not drop one of the EMP bombs in the vent?
You just hear back from Daisy, "The vents!"
Oh my
And
god.
that's it.
It's rat child.
Why is Daisy an opossum?
Because her father's an opossum. Just Daisy in Seattle living in the walls and the vents.
Family marsupials.
I
Like,
mean,
they're
her,
not even raccoons. They're just straight up opossums. Like,
I was gonna say Daisy's role models are the trash pandas. So
Yeah, bird truck out.
those are two very different animals. I mean,
I know.
But I would
yeah,
say
you're not wrong.
Daisy. But yeah, Daisy and Seattle are both very much possums.
Yeah. Okay, so Daisy's gonna work on that. With a nat 20. Hell yeah. So 48.
Nice.
She's,
Atta girl.
yeah.
Seattle made the right suggestion.
Yep. She manages to find like an air intake vent. Right as nobody's looking, she just slips it open and gets inside and starts crawling around in there. We'll get back to that in a second. Inside the office where all the security and everything is turned off, Dr. McLaren invites you both to sit down. It's sort of like a little conference room with just a bunch of chairs. And he sits down and leans forward and just with a very sort of panicky kind of tone says, "The hell are you, the two of you, doing back here?"
Annie shoots Sparky a look like, me?
Sparky shoots Annie a look like, me? And then looks back at the doctor like, I'm not sure I follow.
Let me get a charm roll on that one,
Sure.
or speech, either one
Yeah, I'll do
would work
speech.
for this.
36.
Okay. He's a little less sure now. He's like, wait, weren't you here 2 years ago? We had a private transaction for the third party?
Sparky will look at Annie almost concerned, and they'll, without looking at the doctor, they'll say like, I haven't done any business outside of our partnership for the last 3 years. And it's clear they're kind of making it look like, don't, oh no, I wasn't dealing under the table with my branch. No. they're kind of like playing it up as though they're hiding like that kind of secret, quote unquote.
Okay. How does Annie react to that?
Annie puts on an air of just like nonchalance, and she laughs a little bit and she goes, 2 years. You know what? Sometimes I can't even remember what happened more than 6 months ago. I really don't have any recollection of what you might be referring to.
Let me get a speech or charm roll from Annie.
Jesus. Sparky's like, oh, there's a fire in that pit. I'll just step around, and he's like, here we go.
I had to do it. I couldn't
No, you did.
not
It's
do
great.
it.
It's great.
Seeing as my speech is a 13 and my charm is a 22, I'm gonna try charm.
Okay.
I was really hoping you were going to say speech.
31.
Hey.
31? Okay. He seems a little even more or less certain now, and he's like,
Are we gaslighting this poor bastard?
I think you are.
Whatever do you mean?
Wow.
I have no idea what you're referring to.
Wow.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
low even for us.
Yeah. It is. But he looks a little less sure. He's like, no, I mean, the odds of someone looking just like those two people showing up here again together is...
And Sparky's going to lean in, kind of like one arm on the desk and just kind of lean in on this guy. And in a very hushed tone, they're going to say, Someone else that looks like me? Whoa. No, surely there's no one else with this face. And their whole expression drops dead at the last few words.
Okay. The
Boy,
doctor's
we're really
very
going for
confused by
anarchy here,
this.
aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Sorry,
an
the
ironic
doctor-
statement if I've ever heard one.
Doctor just looks
You
confused
should be
and
feeling in danger now.
the doctor just looks confused and is like, are you trying to tell me you have a twin?
Not just the one.
Oh, triplets or something like that. Okay.
Something
It's
like
like-
that.
I
Something
mean,
like
the evil twin thing is kind of, that's kind of cliche, I think. But is
You
that
clearly
what
haven't
you're
met
telling
my
me?
other twin.
He's like, and I suppose you have a twin as well. And he looks at Annie.
Me? No, of course not. Why would you say such a thing?
Well, someone that looks exactly like you was here at the same time.
I mean, I have heard previously that there is at least one other person somewhere in the universe that does share striking features to yourself. So, I mean, really, we could all be walking around and see something that looks just like us.
And Sparky's gonna nod back at Annie like, yeah, mathematically speaking, it's more than probable that there's almost a doppelganger of every single one of us.
I mean, there used to be people on Earth that thought there was no other living beings outside of the Earth. But, you know, you just never know these things.
Give it a speech roll.
Gee,
Either and or both.
okay. Oh my god.
You're not gonna let me use my
there it
charm
is.
here?
There it is. I knew it was coming.
There's only one way
You
that
have
this could go
advantage.
worse.
Use
Oh,
it.
honey.
I don't.
That they've
No.
been used already.
Oh my god.
There's
Yep.
only one way this could go worse.
Yeah, no. This has to happen.
Is Annie trying?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Nope, that's not gonna cut it.
Nope.
So, yeah, there had to be
Yeah.
one at some point, yeah.
Might have been better
Uh,
if you let me use my charm instead.
Well, had I known, this is we're gonna have an
There's
argument
nothing
about this.
fixing that nat one.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dr. McLaren looks at the two of you and literally does the fry squint, and goes, "All right, well, if you say so."
Oh, this is going tits up real fast.
hmm
Well, at any rate, I'm sorry for the confusion. If you just wait here a moment. I'll go get some things and we can discuss business.
And Sparky's gonna stand up if he goes to stand up. They'll stand
he's-
up kind of at the same
He's
time.
going for the door
Cool.
pretty
And
quickly.
they'll just really gently but firmly put a hand on the arm, like, sorry, but I don't think you understand. We're kind of in the middle of a business dealing here, and they'll tighten the grip a little bit. It's impolite to leave during the middle of one. Didn't you know?
Go ahead and roll Daunt.
Okay.
Annie is slowly slipping her hand to where she has her knives holstered.
That's a 25.
He's not like, wetting his pants or anything,
Mhm.
but he does sit back down, and says, "Aha, and what is it that you actually wanted to discuss?"
Sparky will sit down and they'll look over to Annie and do like a little nod that clearly says like, okay, charade's over. Like it's go
Mhm.
time. And they'll
Um,
look to Annie because this is Annie's jam.
Why you
And then
gotta
could I
do me like
also-
that?
Listen,
Could I
listen.
also
This
get
is
a
your
sight
jam.
roll from both of you?
Yes.
Sight. Let's see.
I see fuck all. I am so laser focused on this guy. I've got tunnel vision.
Oh no!
He has a
Mhm.
desk
How many
button,
nat
doesn't he?
ones is that? Oh my
4.
god!
It's 4 total.
Oh my god.
Yep. I'm rolling a pat today.
Oh, nat 20.
Yep, there it is.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, Sparky's so focused on like being this kind of intimidating person. They're like, why would I look around? Whatever.
So yeah, in your laser focus there, Sparky, you don't notice this thing that he's doing, and
Calm.
something like that. I'm gonna say like in your laser focus, you also managed to like trip over your own feet and fall down.
Oh, good. Yeah, like I
but-
try to go back, sit down, but the chair is not quite there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Annie, you notice him, tapping his thumb much in the same way that you all tap your thumbs when you're trying to activate your secret comms.
Ow. That's our technology. That's proprietary. No.
We'll see you in court, asshole. No, wait, we're gonna kill you. What are we talking about?
So Annie, what do you do with that information?
Oh no. This is the elevator all over again.
Yeah,
I fucked it up once. I don't want to fuck it up again.
go with your gut. Just go with your gut.
Okay. Are you sure?
Do I sound sure? Of course I'm sure. Listen,
I suppose
this is me showing you a train that is a runaway. It has no brakes. And you're asking me, should I hit the brakes? I'm like, honey, there's none. We're going downhill and there's an orphanage at the end.
How
No.
well, okay. How visible is his hand? Like, where is his hand placement?
Like on an armrest. He's trying to play it
And-
off as like a tick, like stemming with your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You have ADHD.
But because we have that technology with the nat 20, is that kind of the feeling that I'm getting? Is it similar to ours?
Yeah. With the nat 20, you realize that he's not doing that. He actually doesn't have ADHD, and is just contacting.
I've seen your doctor's files. And what is the distance between me and him? Like more than an arm's length, or what are we doing?
Yeah.
Can I
like-
lean
like-
over the desk far enough to reach his hand?
I mean, they're just sitting across from you in a chair, so it's not far.
I'm not taking any responsibility for this. Annie pulls out one of her daggers and jams it through his hand.
Yes. Yes.
All right, let's make a melee attack.
We finally got there.
Okay.
All right, remind me again what is involved in the melee attack, because I don't have that section filled out on my training.
We
We
never
Alright,
never
so-
use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. On your
I'm sorry, I
attacks-
broke our streak.
On your attacks section, what you'll want to do under training type, just choose melee. And that's pretty much all you're going to need to do. Just hit the little roll button next, and that'll tell you your attack roll.
Unless
Okay,
you have
there's
any like special tools or training.
No, it's
no.
still just going to be melee training.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the only thing.
yeah, the only training I have in is ranged for her crossbow. Okay, so no like bonus to hit or anything like that, just the melee.
I'll let you roll this with an advantage since you're very close and he's scared.
Okay. Oh my
This is
God.
probably why we don't do much attacking.
So 13.
'Cause we're
I hate
is
it.
coming.
Can I
You're
like
good,
add
you're
a
good.
d6?
No, you're good. So
Okay.
he doesn't see this coming, so he doesn't get a bonus to defense. He just a straight d20 roll, and he rolled a 2. So
Okay.
It's okay,
knife through
Vanessa,
the
we'll be
hand.
fine.
There's a couple of sparks that come out the other end as you've just stabbed whatever communication equipment is implanted there. He's standing up. There's a lot of yelling and blood. Somebody's definitely heard this.
Yeah.
Seth has burst through the door.
Oh, good. Thank God for Seth.
At least Seth didn't have to see me go through that. So in his eyes, I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah. About that moment, gunshots can be heard somewhere else in the building.
Wait, is there a second heist going on?
No.
Oh man, we're gonna go and find blood dripping out of a vent somewhere, aren't we?
Quite possibly.
Oh, good. That silence was possibly the most concerning bit. So, yeah, I think Sparky will get up from their prone position, realize that shit has hit the proverbial fan, and try to pin the doctor kind of down to the desk, like, head down to the desk, arm behind the back.
Yeah, you're able to do so. He's pretty much helpless at the moment.
Okay.
Annie immediately motions for Seth to go back outside, stand by the door, and pretend he's heard absolutely nothing. Take exactly the same stance that you were just in.
Okay, Seth does so.
Sparky's gonna look at Annie like, we should probably tell Kat.
Yeah, she sends off a message through her own comms. It's like, we're in it to win it now. Realizing immediately that Cap is not gonna respond well to just her being off her rocker, she sends another comm and just says, we've run into a bit of a problem. There's a knife through our associate's hand. Be ready, because we might need you.
Associate.
Yeah, the guy that we were talking to.
Why did you stab him?
Because he was trying to alert God knows who that the two of us were here. I think he might have recognized us a little bit more than we anticipated.
Fair.
Okay.
So what did I miss?
Annie stabbed a bitch.
Yeah. Things
Why?
are going according to plan. He was trying to call the guards. I rolled
She
a 1.
stabbed them in the hand. He had the same kind of thumb communication that we do, and was trying to secretly notify someone, and so Annie stabbed him.
Be picked up from the bank.
You also missed there was gunshots in another part of the building.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, getting to that in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Sparky, you've got this guy pinned down. Seth is outside, basically telling people
Keeping
everything's
watch,
fine if they come up. What do you want to do? And do you want to address the other gunshots? Or the gunshots, I guess.
Right. I mean, Sparky's probably looking at Annie like, should we take him with us? What do we do with him? Because they look a little out of their depth, I will say. They're very much like not sure what they're supposed to be doing. They just know keeping this guy here is good for now. But
Yeah, see, the funny part here, right,
Mhm,
is that Sparky did assassin work. Annie did all of her assassinating from behind a computer screen. So
okay. So Sparky's not really thinking rationally.
Boy, howdy, do we have the right people here?
Annie is going to ask about the 2 ingredients that they were looking for. She obviously doesn't know that Sparky's memory said, anything about 6. We don't really know what the other, that sort of thing. So she asked specifically about the 2 that they're looking for.
He very frantically explains, since you mentioned off the 2, that dexaprovaline is one of the ingredients used. The drug has 2 parts. There's one that removes memory and one that is essentially the antidote. Dexaprovaline is involved in the removal of memory. Enteloxide is involved in restoring it. Both parts have 3 ingredients each that you need. And he explains that they only process those 2 ingredients here at this facility.
Right. So if we were looking to restore memories, where would those other 2 components be held?
He kind of reaches with his good hand and says, I need something to write on.
Annie ruffles through the desk to grab like a pad of paper and a pen or something.
The pen! We were... Joseph, he gave us a pen!
She hands him the pen with the logo on it. And then she just says offhand, like, "Oh, looks like it came in handy after all."
He's scared shitless, and is very shakily writing down. He just writes down some galactic coordinates on whatever paper that you have for him.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I don't know more than that. I just know that this is a sister location. They'll probably have either the rest of it or at least some part of it."
Tell us everything you know about this location, about the building that it's being held in. What can we expect when we get there?
If he were not scared, he would just look at you and be like, "What did I just say?" But he essentially does the scared version of that. It's like, I told you, I don't know anything else.
Right.
Sparky's gonna kind
location.
of... Sparky's gonna just hold his like arm behind his back, just to not like wrench it up, but just like firmly kind of remind, like, "Hey, I'm still here too." What kind of response are we looking at? And they sound very like deadened in their voice, like they don't sound like, oh, here we go, it's gonna be a good day. They're very much like, what kind of response are we looking at?
He just kind of cries out a little bit from the... It doesn't really hurt so much as it does just surprise him. And he just says, "You would know better than I would, Blister."
Raven, do you mind if I roll a discipline check real quick?
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh no.
It's a 17.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
What's a 15 look like in terms of success?
What are you going for here? Trying to remember something?
Not trying to remember something, trying to resist something.
Oh, you're not... Yeah, that wouldn't be a success.
That's a no?
If it's what I think. It's
Yeah,
what
okay.
I think.
Yeah. Did Annie leave the knife in his hand?
As far as I know, yeah.
That's a good question. Yeah, I'd say she probably would have put it straight through and left it.
Okay. Sparky takes the knife out of his hand and jams it into his shoulder.
You get a very sharp inhale from Annie, and she like hisses Sparky's name through her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
There's another shout, and you hear a knock on the door, but it's like a quick kind of signal, not pounding on the door.
Okay.
And right about that time, everybody on your comms just hears a very distraught Daisy voice going, "Help."
Well, lads, we've really done wrapped it up.
We're in it. Sparky's gonna yell at the door.
Is
Sorry, go ahead.
basically trying to get where Daisy is.
She's
also might be powering up the engines on the ship.
Captain quickly speaks back to Daisy. Daisy, what's happened?
She's mostly texting back. It's a lot of misspelled words. But she explains that she's locked herself into the security room, that she's been shot, but she's bricked everything in the room.
All of my mind can, like, the only thing that my mind can supply to me on this absolute high of just bullshit that we've been on since yesterday is now she knows what it feels like. I'm so sorry, Daisy.
Jesus.
Oh my
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
Daisy,
I'm panicking.
It's totally fine. This is what it's like. This is what it's like to play Sparky.
Yeah.
Is Daisy texting this to everyone?
Yeah, she's just open frequency kind of a thing.
Sparky would say over open comm, we'll meet you in the security room, Seattle, get us out of the bank, step in here now. And it's very much like, it's just quick to the point. There's no extra to it.
Okay.
Seattle signs to the captain to sit down, buckle in, and tosses the straps over his shoulder and immediately rams us into the lobby.
Okay. While this is happening, Daisy hasn't cut off like the vocal comm. She's just not talking, so you do hear shaky breathing and probably some sobbing. And I do need a mechanical engineering roll from Seattle, and then I need Annie. Pick a number between 1 and 3.
3.
Awesome. Turns out one of those vials you grabbed is actually interloxide.
Oh my god.
Oh, good.
We pulled that one out of our asses. Okay.
Does a 35 get us into the front lobby?
Yeah.
I was really hoping you'd ran the security office, but that works too.
You
Don't know where the security office is inside.
It's actually just off of the
Thank God.
the
for that.
reception
Never mind.
desk.
He's
which-
aiming to basically break the security office from the main building. Then
Are you sure?
Don't
Just
do
you
that.
know what? Lobby,
Yeah.
lobby,
Okay.
lobby.
Headache is not our friend.
Please don't kill Daisy.
I feel like
Daisy,
this is
we're
one
here
of
to
those
save
things.
them.
I feel like this is one of those things where Raven's like, you can only really fuck this up if you really try. And in our desperate attempt not to do anything really stupid, that's the only thing we can do. It's just stupid things.
That's Animus.
Yeah.
In
I'm
a
just saying it's a
nutshell.
small room
You
that she said she's
threatened us
locked herself
with
into.
with character death, and all of us are just like, fuck.
Best thing about this is completely unplanned. This was combat rolls.
Yep.
Daisy just is shit at combat.
Yeah, not really what she's built for, is it?
Not really. It's
No,
not really what any of us are built
she's-
for.
Meta knowledge,
Excuse
she's down
you?
to
Okay, my apologies. It's not what most of us are built for.
meta knowledge. She's down to 15 HP.
Okay, I figured. Yeah, that's. And I think Sparky's probably, like talking her down a little, just in terms of like, because obviously they know how wounds work to some extent, at least on a muscle memory level. So they're probably trying to help, slow the breathing, put pressure if you can. If not, just like wrap something around yourself.
Yeah. And she's like very shakily describing like it's inside, and after a little while of like that shaky talking, you're able to figure out that it's like she got hit in the gut. And tries to put pressure on it, and there's a loud scream from that. Like, nope, don't want to do that. Ow.
Captain's like, shove something inside of it.
What?
You need to apply pressure at the source. Shove something inside the bullet hole. Like
you hear,
cloth.
You hear like
It will not feel
some
good.
scrambling around. Yeah, you hear like some scrambling around, and then she starts getting kind of giggly.
It's not a good
And
sound.
starts talking about, wow, there's a lot of blood. Anyways, right around that time, Seattle, you're able to crash the shuttle through the lobby, bowling over the 2 other security guards that were trying to break into the room. And now you have access to the security room door.
Seattle's getting out and going to collect his daughter. Thank you very much.
Did we hit the guards? Like, are they just knocked out, or are they like
Just give him a
pointing
little
guns
love
at
tap.
us?
They're not dead, but they've been thrown clear, like over the reception desk, and are not getting up immediately.
You probably have a couple cracked ribs.
Yeah.
Captain is going to like stand kind of on top of the shuttle and just wait to see if they get up while Seattle collects Daisy.
Captain time.
One of them looks up, sees you, and just nopes. Just lays back down.
There's only two
Blades aren't even drawn.
There's only two kind of crazy that would stand on top of a shuttle after breaking into a building. I don't want to find out which.
And the fact that one of them is a 5'2" woman in a petticoat, I'm gonna go with no.
Yeah, it's pretty much literally mutters like, I don't get paid enough for this.
No shit.
Just lays back down.
Nobody gets paid enough to deal with us.
We don't get paid enough to deal with us.
Yep.
Like,
that's fair. So yeah, the Seattle, as you go to open the door, it's locked still.
how strong is the door?
It's a security door. It's pretty strong.
Is it like an
probably
elevator
not.
door?
I was gonna say, is it like an elevator door?
Probably not Captain strong, but pretty strong.
Or you could just ask Daisy if she's strong enough to open it.
Yeah, Seattle beeps Daisy of, open the door, sweetheart, we're here.
You just hear on the other side, which one? There's 3 of them.
The
I thought she was
door.
talking about dads for a minute.
So did
I
I.
know, right? I was like, why are there
Wait, what?
3?
Is it the
lobby
mafia
door.
one, the dead one, or you?
Trying to have a serious seat here, and y'all are just like, which dad? This is
Raven,
great.
we're panicking.
I know. I love
I'm
it.
weirdly calm.
Yeah, she just says which door. There's 3
The
of them.
lobby door.
There's 3 of them.
Open them all, for fuck's sake. Like, what?
Just delirious from blood loss.
Open all. Open all the doors.
You hear like a thud, and then sort of a wet squeak against metal. And the door handle jiggles, but it's not quite unlocked.
Yeah, there might be, like, tears actually, like, streaming down Seattle's face. He is, like, trying to physically open the door at this point.
You can make a might roll. Never know. Also, yeah, Captain, if you have the thought to try to open it, you're fairly confident that you can get it open.
26.
How exactly is Seattle trying to force the door open?
By removing its hinges.
From the outside.
Okay.
That'll
Smart,
take a while, won't it?
but they're on the inside,
I
yeah.
was gonna say it's a
Gotcha.
security door.
Captain's gonna jump down. And, can she, just kick this bitch open?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
she's
a might
basically
roll.
watching Seattle kind of panic and flail and try to get this door open, and it's not working.
Where are my numbers? The first thing I've done all game, so I'm like, wait, do I?
Oh
have
yeah,
to
fair.
do that?
I love how Captain and Seattle are slowly becoming like the backup.
26.
26.
You always need it.
You've got something Android training, right?
Yes. Do you want me to add that?
Yeah.
31.
Yeah. You kick this door wide open, like it's made of like aluminum. And it just cracks open the lock, and it swings open. And you can see Daisy is leaned up against a computer console, like a big panel of monitors and things like that, and she's holding her stomach, which has what looks like a couple of bullet wounds. There is an unconscious security guard
Nice.
with a handgun in his hand still. He's unconscious, sort of splayed out on the ground, and you can see the air vent that goes overhead has some bullet holes in it, and there's some blood dripping from a couple of the holes.
Damn, Daisy, way to go.
Jeez, yeah.
I
take
was
him
shot
out.
twice and she still knocked his ass out.
Right.
Seattle
And a spent
is
EMP on the ground.
Yeah, Seattle is like immediately going to get Daisy, basically get her scooped up in a manner so that she can keep the pressure on her stomach, and is just going straight back for the to get her onto the shuttle.
Captain's gonna make Seattle hesitate for 1 second to rip off her part of her skirt and literally like pack the wound.
Okay. You are able to do so, and Daisy cries out in pain for a second and then passes out.
I figured.
But she's still breathing and everything. She's not like at death's door.
Oh my god,
yet.
you killed her.
And yeah, you're able to get her on the shuttle. People in the building are freaking the fuck out and running away from the situation.
Good for them. They can talk to a therapist.
Yeah. They're running away from the situation. There are more security guards coming, though. They're coming from different parts of the building. You probably just see them like coming back from that hallway where the labs are. You probably just barely see them starting to run this way. And there's some that are on the outside of the property that are starting to run towards the lobby. They are not within weapons range yet, though. So you've got time to get on the shuttle and take off, unless there's something that you want to risk doing.
Are Sparky and Annie getting on the ship?
I presume so?
Well,
Mark?
I was just gonna say, waiting to see what we're doing.
Are we taking McLaren with us?
I think you'd have a hard time getting him out of Sparky's grip.
Captain's just going to send on a communication that says, get on the shuttle now.
Sparky replies really calmly, do you have a Daisy?
Yes. She's gravely wounded. Get on the shuttle now.
So Sparky will look at Annie and then again yell at Seth unless he's already come in the room, and say like, let's get the fuck out of here. And we'll look at Seth and do a like tap on the ear and then pull out the little noise making thing.
Seth then nods to you and puts the earplugs in.
Cool. They'll hand the thing to him and say, make us an exit.
We've made an exit.
Well, you made you an exit, but we need us an exit.
I think Seth would have come into the room at that point, because hearing like the yelling and screaming again probably would have come into the room. Because as some of you know, that when we were talking about it yesterday, he has an issue with torture and is making sure that the doctor's not being tortured, but doesn't say anything. But that's why he's there. Anyways, so puts the ear things in, grabs the thing, tells you to cover your ears. And then he does pretty much like a SWAT team style, just opens the door a little bit, chucks it out, closes the door again. And you can tell this is like very practiced, fluid motions for him. He's in training mode.
Good.
And yeah, the thing goes off. It's really loud, but not loud enough to hurt you two in this room. I'm going to say the rest of you are in the shuttle, and also it's just really loud and uncomfortable, but not enough to knock you out or anything like that. Yeah, it clears away.
Good.
As soon as the noise goes off, you've got a clear path to the shuttle.
Yep. Basically, as soon as it goes off, Sparky's going to start moving McLaren out towards the shuttle, because they've still got their earplugs in, so they're fine.
Annie supports the other side of McLaren as if she's like trying to help him out. Like she and Sparky are like holding his weight, like he needs to be helped out.
Right.
And she kind of fixes her expression into one of concern, and she keeps looking at McLaren and going, "Are you okay? Like we're almost to the shuttle. You'll be okay. We'll get you to the hospital," kind of deal, right?
Okay. Are you doing anything to motivate him to not fight you or yell out for help?
Oh, of course. Annie has tons of blades stuck to her somewhere. She has one
Also,
with the
he's got
tip
like an
pointed to
open
his side.
wound in his hand. You could just hold
I
his
was gonna
hand.
say there's still a knife in his shoulder, so you know.
I was gonna say, isn't he currently being stabbed?
Yeah,
Like,
you could
actively?
kind of use it like a joystick if you needed to.
oh my god.
Not that I would recommend it.
Oh.
I would probably say that Annie still has the secondary weapon on him as well.
Cool.
Just as, you know, a little extra motivation. You can never be too careful with these things.
Yeah, Sparky hasn't. Sparky's let go of the knife. Like as soon as they stab, they just let go of it. But they're kind of holding him by his belt to drag him.
Okay.
You're
Then
giving
yes,
the poor
he
man a
is-
wedgie?
Do I care?
No, absolutely
I
not.
mean, that's almost more insulting than fucking stabbing him.
I mean,
Oh my
listen,
God.
I will hang this dude by the yard arm from his unders. I couldn't care.
Well, he did say a
Anyways,
trigger word.
he he's not certain that you would
Mhm.
be able to kill him before he could get help, so he
Well, good.
stays quiet and goes with you onto the shuttle.
Okay.
Attaboy.
Captain's gonna
and-
glance at them and say, "Why is this man bleeding?"
You know what, Cap? Let's talk about it later. Let's get out of here first. How's that sound?
Obviously from the stab wound, of course.
Yeah.
That's why he's bleeding.
He's got stigmatism that he doesn't want to talk about.
It's a very religious thing. Captain
Yeah.
sits there for like 5 minutes, like looking up stigmatism, and she's
Or
like,
sorry,
"What
it's
the fuck?"
stigmata, I should say. not
Stigmata,
stigmatism.
yeah.
Oh.
Stigmatism is eyes.
Yeah.
And she just sits there like spacing out, thinking about religious things, and she's like, "Wait, what?"
Wait, Did you crucify the man? No, Sparky doesn't say that out loud. In fact, Sparky doesn't even look at Captain when they're going back on the shuttle.
Okay. You are able to take off. I do need a I hate to do this, but Seattle, I need a mechanical engineering roll at disadvantage because you're crying and
That's fair.
panicking.
And you're trying to clear a shuttle out of the front of a building.
Yeah.
Unless does Seattle want me to drive? Well,
Oh.
Disadvantage is you roll twice and you take the lower one, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which, I mean, just don't get a 1. Okay,
Oh.
good. 26. I can relax in chat. Don't roll 1.
Apparently, it's just me tonight.
That is bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's enough. It's rough. There's a lot of creaking and scraping noises. But you managed
Seattle
to
has
not.
made his baby to take a beating.
Yeah, you managed to not poke any holes in the hull or anything. It's just gonna have a lot of fender bender type damage to the outside. But you're able to take off and head back towards the ship, and you're not being pursued by any shuttles or anything like that.
As soon as Seattle's able to, Seattle's immediately hailing the ship and telling the doctor to fucking get ready.
So you raise the ship, and Liam answers and is like, yeah, do you need is everything okay? You sound panicked. Do you need me to come pick you up?
Doctor, now.
And the doctor is like, yes, I'm here. Is there some sort of trouble?
Daisy shot. Stomach wound.
Right, I'll be right on that.
Captain adds 2 bullet holes. Also, stab wounds on another person.
Okay. Before you get another person out, Liam's like, and she was stabbed? What happened? Oh, another person. Who stabbed?
Liam.
How is Liam responding to them? Like, is it like a voice comm?
Yeah, and he's very, like, wanting to know all the details right this second is how he's speaking.
When Liam kind of has that, and like, what the fuck is happening? Annie just can't help but like start laughing. Like she starts to laugh out loud.
Liam's like, this hardly seems like a laughing time.
She can't answer because she's laughing.
Wow. Yeah, the doctor's getting ready, and for Seattle, Liam has taken the ship out of orbit and is basically coming to scoop up the shuttle.
Well, I hope those piloting simulations have been paying off.
Yeah, he's essentially doing a thing like if anybody's seen the movie Serenity,
Yeah.
how Wash comes in and scoops up the little transport they've got. He's doing the same thing with the shuttle bay and the shuttle.
Nice.
Dope.
So yeah, gets you into the shuttle bay even faster and takes off in a direction.
Yeah, as soon as they're landed, Seattle is immediately up and out, scooping up Daisy and carrying her to the doctor. He is not talking to anybody, he's just going.
Yeah, her clothes are really soaked with blood, and she looks really pale, but she's still breathing. And yeah, you're able to carry her to the infirmary where the doctor quickly shoves you out of the way and starts working.
Captain is going to sit there and stare at this new passenger and say, "Who is this?"
Sparky's response is almost like you asked a machine. So they literally just say, Dr. Thomas McLaren.
Who is looking at you, Captain, terrified. If you'd
Oh
like,
yeah,
you can
he'd
make a
probably remember me, huh?
Whoops.
Yeah, if you'd like, you can make a discipline roll.
Okay.
And yay, the doctor doesn't kill Daisy.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, good job. Good job, Doc. Discipline. 19.
Would you like to add a d6?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's see here.
It's not a super important roll, but you are close to success.
Yeah. Three. So
22.
22.
Yeah, you get a brief flash of standing outside the door to that office, the office that Annie and Sparky ran out of, and hearing the conversation between then Blister and the doctor, and you remember Sparky coming out of the door and handing you the package, which is the package that you handed to Tolan.
She'll just say, "Oh, the doctor from last time."
He's like, yes, why am I here?
I do not know why you were here. You would have to ask these two. I had no desire to bring you on my ship.
Sparky just grabs him by the belt again and gets him to stand up and slowly basically marches him to the doctor's office. They don't talk. They don't look at anyone.
Okay.
Well, Seattle's still in there and covered in blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a blood trail all the way to the doctor's office.
Captain's gonna look at Annie and say, "Did something go wrong?"
Oh, so many things went wrong.
Other
That's what she
than
says.
Daisy being shot? Why is there still a knife in his shoulder? Why is his hand bleeding?
The hand, that was my fault. He was motioning to use his comms. I assume there was some sort of setup the way that we have ours, and I thought that perhaps the most effective way to stop that would just to take his hand out of commission. So that one was on me.
Thank you for not amputating it.
I
That's
mean,
much messier.
that, and I only had like smaller daggers with me. I don't know if I could really work them through that much bone, if we're being honest. But I can tell you with certainty that that didn't enter my mind. So,
I
yeah.
forget you are human and cannot apply that much force.
Sure can't, Cap. Sure can't.
I just had the worst mental image of Captain at like Thanksgiving dinner sawing through with like a butter knife. Just carving it up, no problem.
Her and she was the one who had to show Seattle how to properly carve that roast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Captain's just going to say, I assume the knife in his shoulder was some form of encouragement?
Yeah, that one came after he called Sparky Blister.
Oh.
Yeah. So we might want to check up on that a little bit later. Probably not now. But
I understand
definitely later.
humans need space at times.
Yes.
This is one of those moments.
I would think
Correct?
so, yes. I think so.
I will give Sparky their space.
I think they'd appreciate that.
Are you injured?
Good.
No, I'm okay. I think Daisy's probably just the priority right now.
Understood. Did we get any information?
A little bit. I have a page that McLaren wrote some information on for another location that they might have what we're looking for, the rest of the ingredients we're looking for. I mean, of course, she probably just like pulls it out of the, I would say she just shoved it into the outside pocket rather than the inside with the other vials. So she ruffles around in her pockets for it and hands it over to Cap. And she says, I mean, he says that he doesn't have any more information, but I guess we'll have to see about that.
I will see what information I can find. If necessary, I will contact Holland again. If they'll answer.
Also, you got into Lockside.
Does Annie know specifically that she has that? Or
Yeah.
so she knows that that's correct.
Yeah.
Does she know which of the vials is the correct one?
Yeah, they are labeled. The other ones that you
Okay,
grabbed
perfect.
are completely unrelated compounds, but one of the vials is interloxide.
All right, so she would probably pull the rest of those vials out of the inside lining pockets, and then turn them over until she finds the right label, and kind of give it like a little shake, just like holds it up to Captain, and like, look at what I have.
Yeah.
Are those ingredients from the drug?
Yeah, this one, he told them it was 3 and 3, right? Or was that?
Yeah, so 3 ingredients for removing memory and 3 ingredients for returning memory.
Memory deletus, right? So yeah, Annie just tells Cap like the 3 and 3, and this is one of the ones that will restore. So we're still looking for 2 more of them.
Do we trust the doctor with these?
That's a good question.
Because they would have the proper storage method for it, but do we trust them to take it?
I think we should be okay at this point.
About that time, there's a click on the comms, and Liam's voice is just going, hello? Is everyone alive? What's happening?
Liam? I'm coming to the bridge, Liam.
Okay.
We have coordinates. Everyone is alive. Wounded, but alive.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Daisy is bleeding profusely.
That's not good. Okay, give me the coordinates. I'll get us there.
Captain says, no, I will be doing these coordinates myself.
And he's just like, oh, come on, Cap. At least let him help you.
He can watch.
She just sighs.
Yeah. Liam
Liam was very helpful. He got us out of there successfully. I will let him know that.
All right. Going back to the infirmary, yeah, the doctor is completely absorbed in taking care of Daisy. Has basically changed into surgery garb, is washed, like scrubbed up and everything, and is it literally operating. Like the infirmary is the OR theater at the moment. But there are a couple of seats like at the edge of the room that like where Seattle can sit, and I think Seth has come there too. And then all around where the doctor's operating, there's like kind of like a force field, but it's not a force field. It's like a sterilizing kind of thing. It's like you can walk through it. It just sterilizes any surface that passes through it, essentially.
Seattle is sitting in one of the chairs.
Okay.
He looks fucking devastated. Like, knee bouncing sort of thing nervously, like, but no real facial expressions. And just like those pink swollen parts around the eyes, because there's no more tears left to thing, as he watches like a fucking hawk through that field, because he just found Daisy. He can't lose her now. He just found his daughter.
It takes the doctor some time, and fortunately there's no like OR drama theatrics that happen, like she doesn't flatline or anything like that. But it does take a long time to do the surgery. The doctor probably at one point will sort of speak behind them towards you and say that there's 2 bullets, but one of them fragmented, and he's having to go in and find the fragments. So it takes a while, but they are able to get all the pieces and sew everything back up. And after probably a couple of hours, lets Seattle know, like, yeah, she's gonna be okay. When Sparky comes in there with the other doctor, I'm pretty sure Jack, your doctor, just says, they'll have to wait, take them out of here. And shoos Sparky and McLaren away. Does Sparky... oh, wait. You are...
Jay will be right back.
Be right back, sorry. So, yeah, Jay, when you get back, let me know if Sparky would just take McLaren somewhere else, or if that would be...
Sparky would probably just look at... Because Seth is in there, right?
Yeah, Seth's in there.
Yeah,
just being really
Sparky
quiet.
would look at Seth, and like there's no emotion, there's no motion on their face, and they just say, like, get me a compress, essentially, like just something to put on the wounds, and then if Seth does that, then they'll leave.
Yeah, Seth grabs a few things and hands it to Sparky, and before Sparky leaves, just kind of grabs Sparky's hand, like at the wrist, not real hard or anything. It says, don't torture him from information.
Sparky turns back to Seth, and again, there's no emotion on the face, but the voice suddenly has a lot to it. And Sparky just whispers to Seth, I'm not that kind of person. And they look hurt that Seth would even suggest that. And then they quickly walk out of the room.
Seth just kind of looks at McLaren's shoulder and then pointedly looks back at you, but then just nods.
Yeah, so Sparky takes McLaren probably down to the cargo hold, I would say, and just kind of sits him down and starts dressing the wounds as best they can.
Okay.
Don't we also have like a holding cell?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of.
We've used something as a holding cell because Seth was in it at one point.
Well,
Wasn't
it was
the quarantine.
I was gonna say
the quarantine room in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
But worst case, I think Sparky probably takes him to the vault.
Okay.
Yeah, leaves the door open, but doesn't.
Vault
You
with
know.
all
That sounds like a threat.
all
Let's
Doesn't
take
it
him to
just?
the vault.
supplies.
Introduce him to the cryopod.
Yeah. We're gonna turn you into cheese, buddy.
No. You should put him in the garden room because that's where the rooster gets kept.
No, Sparky's not in the mood for that at the moment. No.
Also, chickens get set off by the color red and they peck. That would not turn out well for him.
No. Yeah, Sparky will take him into the vault room and just leave the door open and start dressing his wounds.
Okay. He acts like he's going to say something, and then sort of thinks better of it and just keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah, Sparky does not make eye contact with him whatsoever.
Okay. Is there anything else that any of you all want to do, like in this general moment?
I would say that Annie probably goes to her own quarters and sets the vials down in there for now, just so that she's not in around the infirmary or anything like that. So she kind of pokes them away somewhere safe, and then I think she would probably use her comms to send a message to Sparky, see where they are.
Are you just doing like a text?
Yeah.
You get a very short, just vault period.
Yeah, so she would go down there.
Do you announce your presence? Because like if you kind of come to the door, Sparky is very clearly not looking up. They're just staring at McLaren, but kind of through him.
She would come into the vault, but like move in a way that's loud enough to announce her presence. Like she's not just gonna sneak in there.
Yeah. So I noticed you stabbed a guy, so I thought I'd come up and give you a surprise.
Surprise slap to the back of the head, like the fuck you doing, buddy? Like, no, she doesn't make any effort to be quiet or anything like that. Like Sparky would know that she's there.
Okay. Yeah, they don't seem to make any notice of your presence, but it's you seem to have made yourself known at least. So.
What did you say about bandaging McLaren's wounds? Did you say you were starting on that?
I think probably by the time Annie gets there, they've finished. Like it's not like a full dressing. It's just enough to like staunch the bleeding for a bit until the doctor's ready.
She would come in close and like pointedly look at McLaren's hand and go, "Nasty cut you got there."
He just glares at you but doesn't say anything.
She puts her hands up like, ooh,
Yeah, he's not really talking.
She places a hand very gently on one of Sparky's shoulders, and gives a little squeeze, kind of like a, "How you doing?"
You, as soon as your hand lands on their shoulder, you see them kind of jolt, but they don't look up at you. They're silent as the grave.
Kind of giving it a second and being met with radio silence, Annie would probably kind of give him another squeeze in the shoulder and say, I think McLaren will be fine behaving himself here for a moment. Do you want to step outside with me, take a walk for a minute?
You hear like a Morse code message come through from Sparky. Like it's a very subtle movement of their thumb. They're almost just kind of pressing the skin together rather than like tapping. And it just says, I'm good, thanks.
She squeezes again on their shoulder, and it's a little tiny bit more forceful. Definitely lately it's not any large amount of pressure. It's just like a little bit of a nudge, I guess. And she says, come on, Spark.
It's a very slow stand up, almost like a little deliberately slow. And they take all the stuff that Seattle and they had been working on for all the bombs and kind of takes it all and moves it outside of the vault before they leave. And it is very clearly making an effort and a show of all the things that they have on the tables. And then kind of puts it all outside and will close the door once they're out.
Before Annie leaves the room altogether, she would probably turn to look at McLaren again. And for a second, she kind of contemplates if she wants to do the whole like daunting, like, whoa, I've got my eye on you, but decides firmly against it and just says, like in a regular conversational voice, there's no malice or anything to it, but she just says, please keep your hands to yourself. Despite what happened, you know, we're not looking to do you any more harm. And it would just make that job a lot easier if you keep your hands to yourself.
He just sort of nods. There is a hint of a little, like, kind of glare at you. Like, really? Hands to myself? Really? Kind of a just look of contempt when you say that particular part. But mostly they just nod and sit down.
All right, and then she would
almost pouting at this point.
No more cookies for you. Sit down, be good.
I had a really good ham sandwich waiting for me back at the house.
And yeah, she would go outside with Sparky at that point. Close the door.
Okay.
She would start to walk, not really any distance away from the spot because they obviously don't want to leave him alone in there. But she just kind of moseys along in the hallway that they're in. She doesn't look for Sparky or, you know, force them to come with her, but it's just kind of, you know, you can follow if you want.
Yeah, they're there. They're like a step behind you.
Okay.
She stays quiet for a little while until they get a little distance away. And she turns around to face you and she kind of puts her hands on her hips, you know, like signature cartoon big sister.
Yep.
And just waits to see if Sparky wants to say anything.
Sparky looks shell-shocked. Like they don't look like they're all there right now. And they're looking at you, but again, they're kind of looking through you at the same time. Like they don't seem like they've got everything, they don't seem like every switch is turned on at the moment. Like they've kind of regressed inside themselves.
She takes a deep breath and slowly exhales through her mouth and takes in the way Sparky looks and all those details. And she says, do you want to talk about it now, or do you want me to give you some space?
Sparky just kind of puts their hand out and like grabs Annie's and gives it this really firm, almost like desperate squeeze. Their face doesn't change at all, but the hand is really kind of this like clinging on for life grip. And then they let go and they just kind of slowly turn around and walk back towards the vault.
Sparky is breaking my heart. So you know what? In this particular instance, because we all need it every now and then, Annie would catch back up to them before getting to the door and wrap her arms around Sparky from the back and give them a little hug.
They tense up a little bit, but kind of immediately relax once they realize it's not like a dangerous situation. And they just kind of like one hand lightly taps on your arm before they move to the kind of walk out of the hug.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything else. Obviously, the offer is there.
Mm-hmm.
When Sparky kind of takes a moment to process, and she'll probably stay close as well throughout the process of waiting for Daisy to come out of surgery. Like she doesn't go very far from Sparky, and also keeps up like a one-sided conversation almost, where she just kind of talks about dumb shit, like normal everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Just as like a babble in the background, so that
Just
it's
like
not
white
too
noise.
quiet. Yeah, just so that Sparky's not completely inside their head and nothing else. So it's just kind of like that white noise in the background as a baseline, just to kind of give them something to focus on if they need to.
Yeah, they're just keeping eye on McLaren, just making sure he doesn't make any stupid moves.
Just out of curiosity, does anybody go like to the mess hall during the 2 hours that Daisy's in surgery?
Why do you ask, Raven?
No reason.
Rip is there eating our cheese.
He's been waiting. Oh.
Just sitting there with his legs propped up.
Yeah,
Well, looked like you got into a little bit of a trouble.
I had it, partner. Looked like you had a bit of a tussle with some kind of rattlesnake. On my ship. Raven, I'm gonna let you know right now.
What else would I be doing?
I'm gonna let you know right now. If Rip shows up, it's something's gonna happen.
Rip's not there. I was just curious if anybody goes to the mess hall.
Good luck.
Captain's in the
Seattle
bridge.
From Daisy's side.
Is it supper time? Is there a reason to go? If there's something interesting there, I want to know.
I'm just curious. If you want to know, you can go there. Maybe somebody needs a snack. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go get some snacks for Annie and Sparky. And maybe something for McLaren if he's not too sooky to eat.
Sure. There's nothing in the mess hall like Rip or anything like that.
Do you want to go to the mess hall? Sure. There's nothing there.
It's missing. The mess hall isn't even there anymore.
But if you do open the freezer, this is the only reason I ask. There's still
there's a severed head.
Pile of ice cream with the note from Daisy.
I was gonna say we have a huge amount of ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still got the note from Daisy to Sparky on it.
Why does this feel like there's a goodbye note in the freezer? Like this is the last you're ever gonna see. If
that note conjures up sudden emotions, that's just what happens. I'm just letting you know it's there.
Oh, so in other words, hey Vanessa, take this and go write a sad AU snippet.
I was expecting them to go into the kitchen and discover Seth stress eating all of the ice cream that Daisy bought for
He's just surrounded by empty cartons.
Yeah, no, Seth's sticking next to Seattle. Because he's also worried about Daisy, and B, knows that Seattle probably needs somebody there.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't
I think
the doctor.
I think Annie would probably do a round of snacks then. Just take ice cream and snacks and stuff to the infirmary for Seattle and Seth, and then to the bridge for Captain and Liam.
And then back to
Seattle
Sparky.
starts crying because this was Daisy's favorite flavor.
Oh.
Annie makes a hasty exit after that.
Yeah.
Captain's unresponsive at this point. She has her head in her hands and she's not responding.
Oh.
I got a bulk order for sadness. Yeah, Lagrange, I think.
And her skirt is still ripped.
Well, Lisa, that's better than Annie having Cap's head in her hands. Hey.
Jesus Christ.
And for the audience, I should clarify.
I was gonna say we should clarify.
There might have been some sad AU talk last night, and some little fan fiction written in which the crew dies and Annie has to pick up Cap's severed head from her android remains. So
What a really cheery bunch.
yeah. Listen, when you're in the mood for sad, you got to go out loud.
A whole big group round of like, how would our characters react in just like the most horrific circumstances?
It was really that meme of, hey, check out how hard I can cry.
That being said, I will post it to my art Twitter. So if you're curious to know how that goes, it'll be up. It'll be there.
It is really good. Anyways, that's why we keep making these little like inside jokes about that. If you're curious what we're talking about, or if we've all gone crazy, the answer is both.
Yes.
Yes.
No, Captain's upset because a child got shot.
That's fair.
Yeah.
On her crew. A child was shot.
She's 19, but yeah.
A child.
That's a child.
But yeah.
I don't care what legality says. That's a child.
Absolutely.
So she's feeling android upset. Whatever that means.
Okay. Well, after 2 hours of that, the doctor, who sounds rather tired, does get on the comms and lets everybody know that all the bullet pieces have been taken out. Daisy's been patched up. It didn't hit anything vital, and that she's going to be okay. It's just going to take a few days to recover, before she can kind of get out of bed.
Sparky would text message the doctor, just asking, like, do you have time to patch the other individual up?
The doctor texts back like, are they gravely wounded?
Does McLaren look like he's, lost a ton of blood, or does he look like he'll be okay if we just stuff him full of fire?
He's pretty much fine. Like, he did get stabbed in the shoulder, but it didn't hit anything. It just mostly muscle.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, Sparky will tell the doctor essentially, like, I would like him looked at as soon as possible. But it's not urgent.
Didn't they know each other?
Probably,
wouldn't they have known each other?
Probably.
Quite probably.
I'm almost imagining the doctor being petty and being like, oh, do I have to?
Really?
But I mean, the doctor doesn't necessarily know that they know McLaren, because they don't have their memories either.
That's very true.
But they're like, yeah, I'm gonna wash up and get a snack, and then I'll take a look at your friend.
Cool. So as soon as Sparky gets that, they stand up and they look at Annie and they say, like, we should go to the infirmary.
She nods.
Okay. So yeah, Sparky will gesture to McLaren to stand up. They won't touch him, but if he refuses to get up, then they'll like move to get him up.
Yeah, no, he's cooperating for the most part. Like, he just doesn't look happy about it, but he's not resisting.
Okay. Yep. So Sparky will kind of escort him to the infirmary, just kind of keeping within hand's reach of him.
Okay. As you go, there's still a blood trail going from the shuttle bay to the infirmary, so you probably notice that on the ground. I'm assuming Seattle's still in there with Seth, and the doctor has has left to go shower and grab food. And then
Seattle
Daisy's
is still covered in Daisy's now dried blood.
Yeah. Daisy is on the still on the it's not the operating table, it's like the like an ICU kind of bed / table. And she's hooked up to a bunch of monitors and stuff, and she looks super duper pale, but like all the little numbers on the screens and everything look normal. And she's still unconscious.
You may be muted.
Who, me?
Oh, I was saying Alex, if Alex is saying anything.
Nope,
Oh.
Seattle has not said anything. Seattle's not even looking up from Daisy.
I think Captain's gonna come in and check on Daisy.
Okay. Yeah, Captain would see the same stuff.
She would just say to Seattle, she's strong. I don't know how to comfort
Yeah.
people.
Seattle's not.
Comfort words.
Seattle has not responded to anyone for like the last 20 minutes. He is somewhere else entirely right now.
Captain just says quietly, I'm sorry I failed her. Your child should not have been shot as part of my crew.
That manages to get his attention. And he turns to look at Captain. I was the one who sent her into the vents. And there is such guilt in that.
Captain says, honestly, once anyone mentions a vent around Daisy, she's probably going to climb into it. You did not force her to do that. She made a choice, but in the end, she is a child. We shouldn't have sent her into the building in the first place.
Seattle reaches across and ends up pulling the captain over and just like enveloping her in just this hug as he starts crying again.
Internally, Captain is like, oh no. Captain is not good at this. But Captain lets Seattle do what he needs to do.
That's sweet.
Which is basically hang on to the other adult and cry for a bit. And
Yep.
just like let it all out. Let it all out. There's snot, there's tears. It's gross.
After a little while, she makes an attempt at humor and says, I will rest.
She can't hear his laugh, but she can feel like the hitch of his breath that is a chuckle.
Yeah.
All right.
Captain also says she did a remarkable amount of damage in that room as well.
Seattle signs, I'm so proud of her.
Captain makes another attempt at a joke and just says, you're bad at opening doors.
Seattle finally replies with, tell that to the front lobby.
Fair. Unless there's anything anybody wants to do for like the next few hours, aside from just like hanging out in the infirmary and whatnot, we'll fast forward a bit. The doctor gets cleaned up, has the snack, patches up McLaren. Sorry, Did you say something, Jay?
Nope.
Okay. And then a few hours later, Daisy does wake up. Who all would be in the infirmary when that happens? I'm assuming Seattle. But anybody else?
I think once McLaren's like patched up, Sparky would just escort him back to the vault and then lock him in, and then head back to the infirmary because Seattle needs them.
Okay.
Captain would go back to the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, Sparky's probably sitting next to Seattle, just kind of like hand on the leg or like hand in hand kind of thing.
Okay. Is Annie there?
I feel like she's not there the entire time. She'll probably like drift in and out. But yeah, let's say near the end there, she comes back in.
Okay. Because when Daisy wakes up, she's still, coming out of what's the word?
Anesthesia.
Yeah, thank you. That's the one, anesthesia. Still coming out of that, so she's pretty loopy. But she sees everybody and kind of does like, hey, and then sees you, Annie, and goes, I am sorry, I'm gonna owe you a new outfit. I think this one got bloody.
Annie tries to steel her face into like a serious expression, but you can tell that just like the very corners of her mouth are turned up into a smile, and she says, I'm gonna hold you to that. Next time we go shopping, I expect to be paid back.
She's like, oh, don't worry, I'll steal somebody's credit card. We'll get you whatever you want. And then gets a really confused look on her face and is like, I'm really hungry.
Oh, but Captain would have sent a bouquet of flowers.
Oh.
But you can't eat those. Sorry, Daisy.
No.
Says you.
I mean, if you,
anything
if
is
you
edible once.
Yeah.
I think once Daisy's up and she says she's hungry, Sparky goes off to the mess hall and then brings back a tub of ice cream for her.
Oh.
See, Daisy, this is how you go and get somebody ice cream and bring it back.
Yeah.
Daisy's still very loopy, so I think she probably does one of those like, hey, you know what? Fuck you. But then laughs and is like, no, I love you guys. Very loopy. Pulling from my own very fuzzy memory of coming out of anesthesia.
I was going to say this reminds me of being on anesthesia, and oh, yep.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get real friendly. You
Yeah.
get so fucking friendly when you're on anesthetic. Because, like, everybody is your friend now.
It's weird because it wasn't that way for me. I was just frustrated because my body wasn't doing what it was supposed to.
Yeah, I get very concerned
Mhm.
about everything around me.
Yeah.
Not
you're
like
just
paranoid, just like
Mm.
nothing's how I want it. This sucks.
This
Fuck
isn't-
off.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
Overly complimenty and just, like, keep telling people about all the things that I think are cool about them.
That's kind of what happened to me. From what I vaguely remember, it was that and being really hungry. And they gave me graham crackers, and that was like literally the best thing I'd ever eaten in my entire life. And I went on and on and on about how good those graham crackers were.
I was stoked about the ice chips.
That's cool. So yeah, back to the game. Daisy's very appreciative of the ice cream, makes a big deal of it. The doctor probably comes in around that moment and is like, I'm not sure that's the best thing for her to eat, but kind of gets overruled by Daisy, like, death gripping the tub of ice cream.
Yeah.
It's a good thing your
probably,
opinion
like,
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably, like, screeches at the doctor like a pterodactyl.
I don't think that's a good thing for you to be eating that.
Yeah, Okay, all right. I'm gonna have the ice cream.
You know what? On second thought,
Is there an escape pod on this ship?
But yeah, I think that's a good spot to wrap things up. So next session, you've got coordinates for where the next ingredients are, hopefully, and we can explore that. And you've got, you know, a wonderful, nice stabbed doctor to talk to next week too. So we'll wrap up there. We're gonna go on a raid in a little bit. If you have an idea for a raid cry, feel free to throw that into chat. And before we do go on that raid, I'm gonna let everybody say what their favorite part was, where we can find them, and anything they'd like to share or plug. We'll go reverse order from how we started, so we'll start with Goody. Favorite part, where can folks find you, or anything that you want to share?
Favorite part? Oh my gosh. Probably getting to kick the door down. That's always satisfying.
That was really cool.
But yeah, just a lot of good emotional range this time from everyone, so that's fun. But yeah, I'll be here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So yeah.
All right. We'll hop over to Alex. Same questions. Favorite part, where can folks find anything you want to share or plug?
Captain scaring a man without even having to rolling any fucking dice. It's just on top of that ship, glaring down, doesn't even have the knives out, just like, I am not paid enough for this shit, I'm just gonna lay down.
She just has that energy that says, I own this building now. Okay, this is mine.
Very much the fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it's like opposite Karen energy. Gosh. God, and I don't know what is my favorite, like that, or Sparky breaking down, or Annie deciding to stab a bitch. Fuck. All of y'all were chaos goblins, and I love you all, and it was a delight to watch tonight, and I'm sorry I kept having to duck out so often.
No worries.
Yeah, you could find me back here on Tuesday, with Water, which we're almost done. Yeah, I'm around, usually on Twitter, at CanChaosArt. Follow me for some artwork, and if you want commissions and stuff, yeah, give me contact. That's it.
All right. V, same questions.
In terms of favorite parts, I don't know if it was my favorite or just the most stressful. Deciding if I wanted Annie to stab a bitch or not. I feel a little guilty for making her do that, but I don't know. I just feel like she would have done that in the heat of the moment. Like, we've come too far. I'm not letting you ruin it now. Here's a knife. But yeah, it was interesting to see. I feel like I needed to redeem myself for not springing into action in the elevator all those sessions ago. So I hope everybody found that a fitting comeback in terms of heat of the moment decisions. Other than that, yeah, the fact that Daisy didn't die was great. But you know what? We still got the spice. It wasn't too spicy, but we got some of that. A nice way to round off the absolute shitstorm of bad emotions that we've been conjuring up this past 24 hours. It don't stop coming. Just keep going. Well, that's okay. Well,
gonna need another trip to the beach now.
Yeah, I think so, probably. And they haven't even been gone that long. But yeah, as for where you can find me next, today is Saturday, so I will be here on Wednesday when I GM Exodus, and then our Thursday game is Star Wars, which I play in that one as well. And you can also check out my work online. I have an art Twitter, which is at Pepperodraws. That's pepper like the candy. Just there below my name card if you need spelling. And yeah, I've been posting a lot of digital work there as of late. Some My Hero Academia stuff, some OCs, and then this Animus, the infamous decapitated captain, will also be up there shortly when I'm done with it. So if you'd like to check that out, you can certainly do so.
It's really distressing and really good.
I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think it's turning out pretty nice.
Oh my god, Jay, the decap,
Jay,
if you will.
that is
Oh my
horrific.
God.
Absolutely. The file is just named Absentis. So yeah, it's pretty interesting.
All right.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yeah.
I just need your address. I just want to talk.
I don't
We
want to
just
get
wanna
beat up, thank you.
Oh my god. And then moving on. Last but not least, Jay, what was your favorite part? Where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
Well, first off, Vanessa, what's your address? Because I don't want to talk. I just want to cry on your front lawn. I just want to look in the window and then just cry. Honestly, I think
We'll see what we can do for you, Jay. If you
Yeah,
if you don't want to hurt me, if you don't want to beat me
no.
up, if you just
No, I
want to,
wanna hurt you
chill out.
emotionally.
Yeah, okay. You know what? In fact, I won't send either of you my address. Thank you.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was I think weirdly enough, my favorite part was Daisy getting shot. Not the actual act of her getting shot, but the fact that she still knocked a motherfucker out after getting shot twice and like killed the feed was, I don't think that was touched on enough, how difficult that would be. So I think the fact that we kind of as a crew, we pulled it off smoothly once everything went to pot, more or less. But I think as well, like the whole Annie and Sparky doing their jobs essentially of like pulling off a heist with no one knowing they're doing a heist until they actually talk to the person they need to, and then it all just goes to hell. It was really top form tonight for Animus. And also apologies if I made anything too intense with Sparky's descriptions of how not there they were, because that is from personal experience. So sorry if that bled through a little much. Yeah, other than that, actually, no, there was one more thing. Captain being kind of devastated in her own way was really, really interesting to me, because it wasn't something I'd seen from like an android or a robot character before. So that was really interesting to see. I liked it. Yeah, we're all a bunch of sad saps. So you can catch me next with Alex on Tuesday night for Water, which we're almost done the season. Oh, what's going to happen?
Far less sad saps over there.
Yeah, we're more just bad communication saps. And it's been a time. So if you want to see me play a really ornery 60-year-old astrophysicist, that's the one to go to. And Alex plays a 15-year-old with a knife. So it's a time. Last mention of it, the 14th is the kind of what word do I want here? Not due date. Deadline. That's the word I wanted. It's the deadline for Afterburner applications. And if you haven't heard of the game, it's fast racing. I have no brain today to describe it, but it's just being fast,
so
being
much fun.
silly. And there's
The last race I was in, I got beat by a group of raccoons led by by one raccoon called Mr. Peaches, and their vehicle was a dumpster on fire named the namesake 2020.
It's always a time, let's put it that way. But I'm excited to show off the new mechanics that I've worked out and the new sheets and everything. So go on Twitter, it's on my pinned post, you can apply there. You don't even have to have played with me before. Other than that, yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Oh, that just leaves me. My favorite part, it's hard to pick one. The whole thing was really good. I loved the way that you all rolled with the nat ones, and how that worked out. Interesting note, um, if somebody had actually been paying attention to the camera when you had done that for Sparky, there would have been immediate consequences. But I did a roll and they weren't paying attention.
I figured it was very much you lucked out.
Yep. So like, all of that was really nice. Weirdly enough, I also really enjoyed what happened with Daisy. Largely, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore that character. She's a ton of fun to play, and I really enjoy writing things for her. That was not scripted. That was like, okay, she's crawling through the vent. I already knew there was a guard in there, so she's got to knock him out with the stun gun, and then, drop the EMP easy peasy, except she missed her first shot, and so combat ensued, and yeah, she took a lot of damage.
Oops.
Like,
that's a lot of damage.
I was starting to look at the crit that I have and be like, am I gonna have to use this so she doesn't die? But she ended up knocking the guy out, which is great. So I enjoyed that because it definitely brought a lot of emotions out in the other characters. It was also kind of fun to do the, like, I've been shot voice.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, I try not to do that too much, just in case
Raven,
it
can
would
you
disturb
give me
anybody.
your address? I just want to talk.
Yeah. So yeah, I just really enjoyed all of that and the way everybody reacted and came together and like went and saved Daisy. Also, I think it's the first time, aside from like really, really early on, when you've had like a big consequence to breaking into places and things like that. Because I mean, there was obviously Annie getting shot and stuff, but that was more of a circumstance you were thrown into versus one that you sought out.
We
so
are
it was really interesting to see.
Stupid lucky.
Yeah. So it was really interesting to see how everybody reacted, and I liked it all. And especially, yeah, Captain with jumping on top of the shuttle and being all badass and kicking in the door, and then, getting back and being, distraught and really sad in, her own android way. I thought the whole episode was amazing. Where you can find me next will be GMing Water at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on Tuesday. And yeah, we are coming up on the end of that for this season, and I'm excited to see what crazy solutions you all come up with to the problems. And then yeah, we've got our normal schedule for the rest of the week as well. Other things to share or plug are sponsors, which is Fundamental RPG and Intrepid. Fundamental looks like this, and it's the system we've been using to play this game. It's also the system we use for Water, incidentally. If you'd like to pick up your copy, you can pick it up for a print copy at Amazon. Throwing links into chat here. Or if you'd prefer the PDF, you can go to coffee.com/raven/shop, just like it says in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Just add /shop to the end of it, and you can pick up the PDF copy there. Also, for either, there are free copies of the character sheet available at that same place, and there's a print version where you can just print it off and write it in manually, or a form fillable PDF, so you can just type it in and change it that way if you play more like online. So that's cool stuff there. And then Intrepid is adventuring gear for real life, tabletop themed apparel and accessories. It's really cool. You can find it in the same place at the coffee shop. And then finally, if you want to catch up on this show or other shows on the channel, you can check out all of our past stuff at the Fantasy Network at watch.thefantasy.network/videos. Just look for Black Feather Guild, and you can find all of our stuff there. I just updated it today, so today's episodes, as of the time of this broadcast, are not currently up there, but all the past ones are, so you'll be pretty much all the way caught up. And I think that is everything. So what should our raid cry be? We had a few decent lines, I think. And then we're going to go raid Polished Cryptid here in just a moment.
I'm trying to think of any memorable lines, but it's all just sad.
Yes, V, that's perfect. I don't get paid enough for this shit. So yeah, I'm just gonna put that in here real quick. And you can copy this right out of chat as we go in and raid. Like I said, we're gonna go raid Polished Cryptid, who's fantastic. Has been on this channel before. She does a lot of tabletop stuff. And is just a pretty cool person all around. Give her a follow if you're not doing so already. And then, yeah, I will see you all next week. And I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody.
Bye.